CS Racing Cup. My name is Randy Butler, bringing you all the action live with my good friend Lee Smith, who's ready, hopefully, once he's stopped cuddling the cat, to actually jump into some racing action.
I am ready. The cat decided, it's like, this is the time that I will stand in front of you right now as you go on camera. That's exactly how it works out. But yes, I'm back. I've missed 2 shows, so 2 weeks of the action, so I'm ready to go.
That's a good thing, and we actually had a great track for that. It's not the Nordschleife that you saw in the trailer from Season 1. We're actually at Spa-Francorchamps, so roughly 1.5 hours away from the Nürburgring in the beautiful country of Belgium. And it goes up and down the Ardennes once again here in the BMW Cup on the hunt for the golden tickets to the big final and some cash money, right? That's what it's all about here in the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup. Let's look actually at the track. Absolutely lovely shots here, by the way, directly from Spa-Francorchamps. And these chicanes, they hopefully will bring a lot of action to the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was just talking about it before we started. I remember this from last season for the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup. And it was the Kemmel Straight. You get a massive drag in the BMWs. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a lot of overtaking at the end of that straight. That is going to be the key position. Could be very interesting for the start, because if the pole sitter may well be leading as they go up through Radillon, but they may well not be leading at the end of the straight, because it gives them a huge advantage. So it's going to be very hard. You're going to see a lot of wiggling maybe to try and shake that toe.
Yeah, it's like the slipstream. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Spa-Francorchamps, by the way, is one of the last chances before we head over to Indianapolis. So if anyone wants to grab that golden ticket, that has to happen today or in 2 weeks' time. When it comes to the format of the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup, it's fairly simple. 15 minutes of private qualifying. That means there are no other cars in your way. You can just be out there on the track, doing your best, and then right after, it's basically done with the freedom and the peacefulness of the world, with being alone on a beautiful track. No, it's 20-minute race action, wheel-to-wheel racing and banging for 20 minutes.
Aiden's asking, is it going to be 2 laps? I mean, I don't think it'll be that many laps in the BMW series, I've got to be honest, because it is a long track. But these are the current finals ticket winners, as you can see from the first season. Marcel Chinchik, Smidl, and Yuri Toman, all the Vargas Sim Racing guys, and Yajovski, Risto Capit in there. I see you in chat as well, buddy. Philip Dreiss, also Diogo Silva recently, Remy Delorme, Lucas Vela, and Lorenzo Horsing also winning in the last one. So 2 tickets remain for the final. We're obviously here, and we're going to Indianapolis next. Who's it going to be? We could be in this weird situation, Rene, where we could be down to like 6th place gets the ticket, because obviously a lot of these guys continue to race because they all want them euros for the top 3, the podium positions.
Yeah, maybe we should explain that real quick. So if you grab that ticket, then you obviously won't get a second one. Means if you have a ton of people in front of you that are already qualified for the final, you might get lucky, even if you're 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th. 9th probably won't gonna happen, because we don't have that many tickets out there yet. But we jump right into qualification session, and it's only 2.5 minutes still to go here. And Yajovski, that's, I would say, a well-known name, especially now that he can concentrate a bit on BMW rather than racing in the GT Pro Series, as he dropped out last season. And he's dominating once again here, with nearly half a second of a gap between him and Dreiss.
Yeah, that's pretty big. The Dreiss stepbrothers in here as well. So Philip and Johannes, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves. It's been a while since I've seen his stepbrother in here. So obviously Philip's been doing quite a lot. We'll see how these work out. Obviously, I do see Schmiedl in there as well, as you say. And Yajovski is in the GT Challenge, of course, at the moment, doing certainly very well over there. We have quite a few ticket winners in here overall as well. So it'd be interesting to see how it can shake out. And obviously, something we've seen over the seasons with the BMW M2s is there can be quite a difference. As opposed to, say, the GT Pros, you would often see maybe like 20 cars within a second of one another. With the BMWs, you really have to get a flow going effectively on the circuits, really get that slide through the corners to keep that flow going. And you can see some pretty huge differences in times.
Yeah, momentum is key, that's for sure. And I was just going through the names and thinking like, oh, it must be a small world, right? Because we're always running into the same drivers. But it is a small sim racing world, although there are millions of people by now. I can tell you, yesterday, I went to the workshop and ran into a guy that was repairing his car there who also raced, like he comes from the, I think, Czech Republic. He races in the Le Mans Virtual Series. So the other series that you can actually watch here on Traction.gg, the big 250,000 endurance championship. And not just that he races there because he's a real-life racing driver, he's also racing for Varga and was like, oh, if you do rFactor 2, then you know Michael Smeedle, right? And I was like, look at that. So, no matter where you are in the world, you can always run into someone from sim racing. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a Varga sim racing member. So there we go. So absolutely love that. With sim racing being more and more popular and more people getting involved, right? We just talked about that right before the show. A few people jumping on the train, I would say. Talking about the hype train, Erniowski out there for another lap, but that's a yellow sector, and he's already leading, and the session is over. So if he's even improving his time by now, that would be great, but not really necessary. I have to ask though, Scheuerle, is that Philipp Scheuerle? Oh, I remember a racing driver from back in the days with that name, not the politician. Let's make that clear. Who was that? Can we have him on camera? Mr. Ruben Correa Alves, although we're watching Michael Smeedle. Tobias Scheuerle. All right. Maybe it's his younger brother, who knows?
He's improving his time, that's for sure. Is he going to get a chance to finish it? That's the question, because 2 minutes 30, I don't think he's going to, because qualifying cuts off pretty quickly here. It doesn't generally give them the whole time.
Smeedle looks good.
Those laps.
Oh, looks really good when he comes across the line, but it's 2:36 and stays in third position, but still, it's a podium spot, and there's money on the line for that, while Scheuerle decides to find some new ways around the last chicane here at Spa-Francorchamps, really cutting the curbs aggressively in this Cup race car. Obviously, that's kind of what we expect from Cup racing, right? If you Google pictures of Cup racing, no matter which Cup it is, you always get a picture first where cars are flying over a curb.
Yeah, going sideways, flying over curbs, yeah, that sort of thing. And you know what? I'm pretty sure Ruben's going to have some slow-mos lined up for us later on as well, just to catch them all doing that as well. But yeah, improving his time either way, didn't improve his position overall, still in the 7th there. And Pedro Gomez over the line. Can he get better than the 23rd?
He will not be happy about that, I'll tell you. He's one of my drivers. He's a real-life Brazilian stock car driver. His brother's running in the highest league in Brazil, where Rubens Barrichello is running in nowadays. And he was racing there before, and I know that he definitely wants more out of the BMWs. Lucas Wöhler, he had a purple sector in one, coming across the line now, but only a green in a second. So this will definitely not be enough, but is enough to improve. It is up to 6th, Tony Mercado and Scheuerle down.
Absolutely, it's working out well for him, and now the final car out there. Will he get a chance to finish? He's certainly green at the moment. It is Diogo Silva. See if he can improve. He's got himself a ticket for the finals already for GTC Race Centre. The famous orange car. He's been ever prevalent. Let's see if he can improve. He does! A big improvement up to 5th, bouncing a bunch of them down. That is a great final lap.
Definitely, he will be happy about that one, and we know how important qualification is in this cup. Everyone's on the same car, everyone's on the same power. So if you want to make up positions, then the easiest way to do that is a qualification, actually, because you don't have to find a way around someone. So in the grid, we obviously have to check who would be on the golden ticket position as of right now. So I got the current ticket holders already on my second screen. So let's see once we go through the grid. So everyone out there knows who is in. All right, that's the qualification results. So Jojowski gets pole position in front of Johannes Dries, who is not yet qualified because his brother Philipp Dries is qualified, so he will be the one. Then Michael Smeedle, everyone knows him, very aggressive race style, awesome to watch. Philipp Dries, he is a ticket holder in the 6th race actually. Diogo Silva, then Michael Geisler, Lucas Wöhler, Matthias Machado, Tobias Scheuerle, and Paul August Lane to round up the top 10.
Yeah, it's good to see Paul August Lane in there as well, sort of improving his time, see whether he can maybe sneak one of those tickets. He's been consistently driving throughout rFactor 2, through here and in the GT Challenge as well. So it's been around for a long time. Great to see a lot of new faces and old faces as well. Further down the field, we have Jan Kurjan, who has not actually got himself a place locked in there. Remy Delorme does in 13th. Mikel Leroux's teammates. So the virtual drivers by TX3 locking out 3 positions. We'll see how that works out. You can see his teammate Odavani as well, further down in 19th position. And Essencial, also GTC Race Center, locking in there. That's obviously Diogo's teammate. So very interested to see how the teammates can work out. Satellite Racing got a driver in there. Pastorino has seen you in the GT Challenge as well. So a lot of names that we have seen throughout either Pro or GT Challenge. It's great to see so many returning faces here, of course, for the BMW CMM2 CS Racing Cup. It is open qualifiers here, we should point out. So keep your eyes out, get yourself on the rFactor forums, and keep your eyes out for when Indianapolis qualifications will be coming up. And you may be able to take part. There is money to be won, as we pointed out, the top 3 positions, but you're going to be up against some of the best in the world.
Yeah, it's not an easy one here in the BMW Cup. It's very competitive, and everyone is dialed in on these cars. There's no BOP needed, right? Because everyone sits on the same car. It will be very interesting how the race goes, especially today, where Slipstream probably plays a key role. And I have to ask, 17th starting position, Florentine Jour. Oh god, French is hard for me. So we stick with Florentine, although my name is Rene, I can't speak French. But doesn't his car remind you of the Hyundai WRC race team? Kind of in that same color, same pattern. Once again, on your screen, the drivers that already have the golden ticket, and you see it there. Philip Dries has one, but Johannes Dries, who's starting in second right next to Ernejowski, doesn't have it. So, does he take all the risk and attack Ernejowski because there's money on the line? Or does he just, chill out, stay where he is, because he would still end up with a golden ticket if he just stays where he started?
Well, that's just it. I mean, he's certainly going to want to challenge it. It is Ernejowski that's going to be ahead of him, so it will be a very tough challenge. 2 times GT Pro champion will certainly be tough to unsettle. But as I said, in that first lap, actually, every lap could follow in that. The Kemmel straight, you're going up Eau Rouge, you got that big long straight. If you are close enough, you will get a massive toe off the man in front of you. And we could see a lot of overtaking opportunities going into Le Combe to see whether they're going to be able to squeeze on through there. It's not easy, but it definitely is a possibility. We've seen in future and previous races, maybe future races as well, who knows, cars actually making that overtake around the outside as well. It's very entertaining in the BMW series, no doubt about it.
Yeah, especially if they go sideways, right? They're a bit drifty, these cars, and it looks absolutely great. And yeah, it was just about to ask, do we get a warm-up lap probably? So we're on.
It kind of goes straight into it, yeah.
We're on. No, that's the warm-up. We're on board with Ernejowski, who will be the pole setter. So he starts the race today, and I mean, what can we say about Ernejowski, right? You said already, it's 2 times GT Pro world champion. And he's an absolute star in the Le Mans Virtual Series. He had, let's say, a hotly debated race in the Formula Pro Series, powerprojection.gg, when he blocked now reigning champion Bono Howard several times. Then let him pass, but blocked Kevin Siggy instead and never let him pass. So let's just say it was an impact on the championship there, and it was very entertaining to watch and commentate over. I can tell you that. But let's say he was in the limelight fairly often that race, although he's not yet a champion on these open wheelers in the Pro Series. Although looking at his pace, I think he could. And it's just incredible looking at a driver like Ernejowski, who's quick on absolutely everything. GT3s, GTEs, BMWs, and even the Formula Pro.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He is one of the rFactor 2 kings of the circuit. Love him or hate him. Obviously, he's been controversial in certain things. Obviously, in last season's GT series, but he's knuckled down back in the GT Challenge, and he's going to be coming straight back up to GT Pro next season. I have no doubts about that. So he's definitely a driver going to be seen up there. Johannes Dries, I wanted to talk about him because he is a driver we saw a number of times. I have a feeling he was in GT Challenge and may well still be in it. Certainly last season, but I hadn't seen him for a while. But then again, I haven't done the last 2 races, so maybe that's down to me rather than him himself. Philip Dries, as you say, already got that ticket, so his stepbrother has that secured. So we'll see whether he can get it there for neatracing.com. These guys have been consistently racing very well throughout the BMW series, the GT series as well. So it's great to see them once again back up there. And it's great to see how competitive is that, right? You know, two stepbrothers, second and fourth on the grid. These guys are always up there as well. I wonder, like, how much they practice together, or maybe, I mean, they're obviously on comms together. I got to assume. I'm assuming they like each other. You know, they're stepbrothers. You never know. Yeah, you know, related not by blood, but by marrying somewhat relatives. So, yeah, you never know how these get on. But I got to assume, you know, they're good buddies, and it's great to see them both here and doing very well together.
Yeah, definitely. They had been a strong duo at Loch Drummond, which was round 4, but unfortunately they did not manage to hold the position and push Johannes into the golden ticket positions. Today it looks a bit better, although Johannes has to be without the coverage of Philip, at least for the start, as they're not in the same row as they have been previously. So let's see how that pays off. Bas van... Well, I wanted to go back to that car. Can we go back? Remy Delorme, who already has a golden ticket. Bas van den Boom. I mean, I can tell you, on Sunday, right, we had an event where a racer was named Max Grip.
Yes.
And I thought that was the coolest name that I come across for this week in sim racing. But Bas van den Boom, I think that even beats Max Grip. Because Max Grip was losing max power, right? That was the problem. He was needing some more power, but Bas van den Boom, that's just amazing. Driver of the Day award right here. There should be G-Runner TV Driver of the Day award for this. need to create that.
It's definitely a name that flows, you know. Obviously,
yeah, Bas van den Boom.
Yeah,
love it, man. Incredible.
I'd love to know what that translates into, actually.
A slow-mo off the... Oh, look how the tires deform going over that sausage curb and then really launching the BMW. Kind of as successful as a SpaceX, I would say. So, it was not bad.
Remy Delorme, there's going to be three of them, three of the virtual drivers by TX3. They're going to be all together. So look for that pack of wolves searching for the top 10, maybe. See whether they can break on through. He has a ticket himself, Remy Delorme. Got that in, it wasn't Loch Drummond, it was the one before, wasn't it?
It's the Delorme one.
It's in, was it Sebring? No, it's Lime Rock, wasn't it? It's Lime Rock. Lime Rock, he got it at. So great drive from him. I was actually watching it. I was doing another show, but I was watching it. I had it on the side, sneaky. Not meant to, but anyway. It's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to go, of course, as the cars will line up. So, Nidowski starting out pole position, Johannes Dries in second, Michael Schmiedel in third place, and Philip Dries in fourth. Schmiedel, Nidowski, and Dries, Philip Dries, all with tickets already. Diogo Silva as well, fifth place. Michael Geisler in sixth. Verla down in seventh, and Mercado in eighth. Silva and Verla also got themselves tickets already. Schuler down in ninth, along with Paul August Lana in 10th place. And then the TX3 boys, Johan Kerjan and Michael Leroux down in 11th and 12th, and his teammate Remy Delorme in 13th. Sebastian Rey in 14th place, Remy Arcas down in 14th, and Joao Asensio in 16th for GTC Race Centre. Looking pretty good in that orange car. Meanwhile, Florent Joyer for Angry Bull Racing Team. That's a great name. 17th place. Nello Pastorino. Great to see Satellite Racing returning once again. Down in 18th. His teammates not here, it seems. We'll see them in GT Challenge. Anizio 21st. Van den Boom 22nd. Gomez in 23rd. And Correa in 24th. Henry Sinnick. Long way down for Henry Sinnick there. 25th place for him. Valentino Iliev. Simtek in 26th. Faleto in 27th, and what is that name in 28th? I cannot pronounce that one. Jose Lopez rounding out the grid in 29th position. So there is no warm-up. This is going to be a straight up lights drop and away they go, and it is going to be obviously very entertaining. Everybody knows what Spa is like, going up Eau Rouge through Radillon down the Kemmel Straight. It is going to be neck and neck, no doubt about it, into Le Combe.
Yeah, absolutely sure. So it will be very interesting to see who's leading into the first chicane. And I have to say, I was hoping it could be Jose Maria Lopez, right? The ex-touring car and Formula E driver. But then I remember if he would be in this race, he might still be angry that on a live show I called him Juan Maria Lopez. Because back then he actually took away my microphone and told me on stage that was not his name. No clue how I mixed that one up to Juan Maria Lopez, but in case he's listening, I'm really sorry, man. But no, it's not him. It's Jose Lopez instead. And that's the list of drivers that we still watch today, but obviously they won't be in focus. As for now, that will be about, I would say, Geisler and Johannes Dries. They're the two drivers the closest to actually make it to the golden ticket. And let's see if I can follow up here, if Philip Dries can have another Dries next to him in the big finale, or if he has to do all of that on his own without any support from the family. Remy Delorme, I mean, he got another 3 teammates in this. None of them qualified so far. So Varga got 3 cars in the final. RHG Esports, that's Romain Grosjean Esports, has 2 with Yuyovsky and Capit. I mean, these are big names from the Alpha 2 scene. Amazing drivers. And yeah, TX3, they really have to get going, right? They need to bring another car in. But that is the start of straight, and away we go at Spa-Francorchamps for round 5 of the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup. Erniowski is still leading into turn 1, Dries right behind, but he got a Varga car already on the inside. That's Michael Smeedel trying to get around him, but it doesn't work. One of the TX3 cars spun. I think that was Kurjan, who just got spun around there. Chaos in the background at La Source, but the front runners, they are still going strong. Erniowski, he managed to at least lead into Arouche.
God, was that his teammate that spun him? I don't know, because I did say there was 3 teammates all together. They're holding it together through Radon, though, and this is what I'm talking about now. As they go into the Kemmel, this gives you huge drag, and look at Johannes Dries pumping past Yuyovsky. We see Diogo Silva doing the same. Look at Schmiedel getting that drag. He's going to look up the inside, perhaps, as they come into Lecombe and try and hold it together. Yuyovsky will hold that inside line and keeps himself in that first place, but you can see how tight it is further down. That is Diogo Silva. Philip Dries challenging out. Silva has made it stick. He gets himself up into 4.
Yeah, tight racing right from the get-go, and kudos to Yuyovsky, how he hold on to first position there, even with all the slipstream, absolutely showcasing his huge amount of skill there. And I wonder if they didn't take down Yuyovsky on the first or second lap with the slipstream, will they ever be able to catch him? Because normally on these cars, or a GT3, GTE, he just runs off in the distance, basically. No one else can catch him. Dries and Smeedel. And Smeedel without the support of his other Varga Sim Racing drivers, so he has Diogo Silva right behind. And then the second Dries, that is Philip Dries, and Michael Geisler right behind. But Yuyovsky still the man to beat here, but look how close Dries and Smeedel are here in the second sector.
Yeah, but look at this. This front 3 is already starting to pull away, isn't it? Diogo Silva, who did manage to get the move on Dries, is sort of slowing them down. Schmiedel sliding it beautifully. Schmiedel's had some really epic battles with Yuyovsky throughout the BMW series across multiple seasons. He's definitely one to watch, and he's looking to try and pick the pockets of Johannes Dries right now, as close as he dares get on that bumper, sniffing it out. Meanwhile, his stepbrother further behind is looking to get past Diogo Silva as well. Looks like Schmiedel's not going to get it done this time around, but it looks like Philip Dries will as he goes back past Diogo Silva.
Yeah, it's quite a heated up battle there already in the background. Although, let's have a quick look at the timer. I like that shot. Really make sure that we know it's still going, 17 minutes 22. But let's get back into the action, I would say, and see what's happening. There we go. Geisler right behind Diogo Silva, and then it's Philip Dries up front. Who's in the background? Who did we lost? Sinic is up to 17th, although he's a lot quicker than that, that's for sure. There is Florentine, that's the car that looks a bit like
pretty wide.
The WRC Hyundai one, and that is indeed 3 wide through La Source. What a fight! That's Nizio. Is that Cynic on the outside? Yeah, that's a Satellite Racing Team car. And that's right on the middle. So, oh my god, they even go 2 wide. Rouge nearly 3 wide. Up the hill, running on. Do they make it onto the straight? Yes, they do. Luckily, but Cynic, everyone fighting for slipstream now. And
oh, wow. Look at the slipstream, the Ottavani out there, just slingshots round him. Oh no, that's connection. That's Smeedel and Dries connecting with one another. Further down the field, you can see, look at that Ottavani, slingshots round all 3 of them while they were battling there. That was absolutely beautiful to watch as he swings through. Meanwhile, Dries and Smeedel, because they're battling so hard, Yuyovsky is gone. absolutely gone. 3 seconds ahead in the lead already because these two have been battling each other so hard. It's given him the time to just leave them behind. There's the penalty for Lopez. I think that was a jump start, if I'm not mistaken. So that one has been given. I don't know whether we'll be able to get a replay of it, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. I saw the eagle-eyed people in chat spotted it as well. Henry Cynic, getting a penalty as well. They're all coming through from those first few laps. We're 5 minutes in, and that was a little bump, was it there? It looked like, yeah, on Dries, I think that's Diogo Silva getting right up behind him. They're side by side once again.
Yeah, I think there was actually Philip Dries knocking at the rear bumper of Smeedle, and then he took him down right after. Look how close the fighting group is. He's definitely there to give coverage to his stepbrother now, to let Johannes get away from Smeedle and stay within the money positions, basically. And you're absolutely right in terms of Erniowski, and I said it previously, if you're not taking him down immediately with the help of the slipstream, really, really hard to catch him, and he's doing a great job right now and creating that gap and spreading the gap. Geisler goes free off there. Small mistake of Diogo Silva, but isn't enough. Yeah, he's getting it done before the braking zone for the last chicane, and he will be able to cover up the inside. Someone definitely missed this braking point in the background, though. And it worked well. Look at this fighting group that we have on our hands here. Another penalty for Gomez as well. Wonder what that is. Well, we see the start of
this is going to be Kirjan. He got spun, if you remember.
Yeah, that was I think that was the X3 driver that spun around. Let's see. So he's going to the outside, which is great on La Source because he can really run all the way around. But
it's his teammate. It's got to be his teammate.
It's either his teammate or he really just lost the rear with acceleration. He might just spun the tires.
Let's have a look. We can see.
No, he's spun on his own.
Hey, he's just gone his own. Yeah, he's just done it. He's just dropped the accelerator too much and spun himself out. And, well, he nearly wiped his teammates out. Let's get back to the racing now. So Verla, Diogo Silva gone back. Geisler's got past him. And now Verla looking to pick his pocket. Look at this down the camel. This is how much the toe gives you. It really is fierce racing at this Binders. I absolutely love this series. I really do, because it has such tight racing. And there can be so many opportunities gained or lost by the corners if you don't just hit it as precisely as you want.
Yeah, it's great to watch every single time, no matter the track we are, but I think also Spa is a perfect fit for these BMW M2 Cup cars. And Geisler, he's the other driver in this group that would have a chance for a final ticket, because he does not have one now, but he would need to take down second place Johannes Dries, who is getting away, slowly but surely, with the help of his stepbrother. So, with just 30 minutes on the clock, it's really, really hard. And that's why qualification in this race is so important. 20-minute private session. You really need to make sure that you absolutely nail your lap, be super quick, and start roughly top 5, at least, to have a shot.
Yeah, Paul Castellano, I'm just looking at who gained really from the start. Paul Castellano's got up 2 places. Remy Delorme's gone up a place or 2. So they've worked it out well. Obviously, it was great for Diogo Silva, but he's dropped back since then. So it's Geisler that's actually doing very well in 5th at the moment. So he's certainly working his way up the field. Looking very good as he works his way through. He's a GT Challenge driver. This is Ottavani. It's going to be the slingshot. So watch these 3 battling. They're going to battle through Eau Rouge and up Radillon. And he's just going to get such a drive because they're battling so hard. Look at the speed. He's just going to leave them all standing. So thank you very much. Goodbye. Around the side.
Even made space for him.
3 of them, yeah.
Look at that. Sinic with that contact created the space that Alessandro Ottaviani needed. And that's then 3 positions just because he had a good run through Eau Rouge and Radillon. Kudos to him. That was well played. Stayed out of trouble there before. Talking about staying out of trouble, so does Erniowski. Now up to 4 seconds of a gap between him and Johannes Dries. So completely different league, I would say, in terms of pace. I mean, we're just raced for what? 8 minutes in a bit. And the difference is already 4 seconds. So he's doing an awesome job once again. Geisler on the hunt for the first Dries, kind of like the warm-up, because he wants to overtake the second one. Johannes Dries on 2nd position for the final ticket. Now with all the slipstream over Camel Straight, going up the inside. Let's see if Geisler can make that move. They're teammates, if I'm not mistaken, Geisler and Philip Dries. So probably, Philip will not defend too much.
And you see that behind. Verla got past Diogo Silva as well, just behind. So he's managed to get himself up into 6th position. It's great to see the teammates battling. Speaking of battling, that was a bit of contact there as they do try and squeeze the way through. That's not the direction the BMW should be facing. Asensio does work his way through, but that was a TX3 driver. Then I think it was Ottaviani, unfortunately, that did get spun out there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who started that. We saw Sinic previously being tad aggressive, I would say, but I'm not quite sure if he caused this spin that we just saw from the TX3 driver. That was Ottaviani, I would say should have been. Yep, he was the one that passed him previously on the lap. Lucas Verla now under pressure of Diogo Silva after taking him on Camel straight and getting up to 6th position, but Silva is already a ticket holder, but he's also a very quick one. Out of the cash positions for now. But look how close he is up to Lucas Verla's rear bumper. Basically becoming one part. He could put some new stickers on them or maybe clean the car. The only thing he wants to do, though, is passing him now.
Well, there's been a bit of damage at the back of that as Lucas Verla, hasn't there? He's had a bit of contact there. There's no doubt about it. Here's the tow once again as they get themselves around the back end of the circuit as they do try and drive the way through. This should be relatively easy to stay close, but he needs to be on him as they go up and around Eau Rouge. They come into the back end of the circuit now, as I say, in through chicane and then down to once again into the source. So let's see whether they can stay close. This a replay. Pastorino getting it done, it seems. Now, is he going to be turning in too much? I'm going to say, is there a car still there? It's a little slidey, and that's the contact to Ottaviani. So it was really side by side through. I think that was just by Campos, wasn't it? I think they were.
Yeah, so that was very unlucky there. I mean, it is such a tight fight all the time, and especially with a car liking to step out the rear, not that easy to keep it in the right position. Silva now a long way behind Lucas Verla, but Camel Straight might help him out here. While Machado has to fight off Rem Delorme, another ticket holder for the grand finale. Let's see if Machado has the right answer here on the slipstream battle. Delorme has to go to the outside, but we saw that it works, and it worked very well for Erniowski in terms of defending his position, and Delorme makes it happen around the outside. Small contact there, but amazing pass and really used the slipstream to his advantage and a great run through the chicane.
I believe it's just extending the wing mirrors is what he did there. Nizio tried to do the exact same thing on Ree, but that's not going to stick. And oh my word, he's still staying 2 adrift. You can't make it work around here, son. I don't think that's going to be enough. Nizio's just trying to hold him off, but he's going to have the inside. That's a pretty bruising touch there. And yeah, absolutely won't be able to make it stick. But he may have just unsettled Nizio's car enough to be able to get a better drive on the exit. Will be able to keep himself in position. And Ree, in the end, will have to give up and try again in just a few moments on the next few corners.
Yeah, love this battling. It's proper cup racing. It's like the good old golden age of touring car racing, I would say. Till he finds a knock on the door, and he did there, but couldn't find a way around. Philip Dries looking at his teammate Geisler, and then Michael Spiel from Vargas Sim Racing in third. And in the distance, that is Johannes Dries, and even further away, probably not even the shot anymore, is the current leader, Erniowski for RHA Esports, 4.5 seconds.
So I've been told that Dries was told to give the position back, so I got to assume that was back at the start when Yovsky obviously was there, so I didn't see exactly what that was, whether maybe he had a slight jump start on Ehan or not. I'm not too sure exactly, but that's what Race Control's just informing us. So of the front drivers right now, Yayovsky has a ticket already, but yes, he's looking good for the €500 win. Johannes Dries in second place absolutely would need a ticket, so that could put him in the final at the moment. He's looking golden for that one. Schmiedel is also in there. Geiser does not have one yet, so obviously he's going to be looking at, hopefully, no, I wouldn't say hoping his teammate makes a mistake, but, you know, he'd be thinking, I wouldn't mind to go in the final too. We'll see whether he can get a little bit closer. I don't think he's going to be able to break into that top 3, though, because Schmiedel looks like he's got a decent distance here. Meanwhile, Geiser obviously having a nice battle with his teammate, Philip Dries.
Yeah, look at that slipstream battle once again, where they now also have to go through Gomez, which is a lap driver right now on 26th. It should be the car of Pedro Gomez. I'm absolutely sure about that one. The braking speed really hard there. You see the rear coming around just a bit, using it to rotate the car so you don't have to steer that much anymore. And you just launch it right there through the chicane.
Yeah, very entertaining to watch these BMW series. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Just under or over 5 minutes to go here. That's how you get out of the way. Just completely go off the track. So you've got to be careful sometimes. Back markers, they do try and avoid it. And, fair play does go off the line. Looking further down the field, look at that. Diogo Silva right on the back of Verla once again. That is 5th and 6th place at the moment. He's trying to get the drag once again to see if he can have another bite at the cherry. Paul August Lana looked like he was very much in bold. So 6th, 7th and 8th, you can see Paul August Lana also having a look on them, but Verla's going to have to be defensive. But the Need Racing boys are still on the hunt. Johannes Dries in 2nd place would be a finalist, and with just 2 tickets remaining, those finals, I tell you what, there's some top drivers in that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure Johannes will do his best now to just keep out of trouble and not even trying to hunt down Ijovski, but he also wants to stay away from Smeedel and not losing any more money, because 2nd is still, I think, 300 euros, right? So definitely worth it for tonight's evening. Silva now closing the gap to Lucas Verla once again for approaching Blanchimont and then into the last chicane. Also blue flags. I think they overtake Gomez probably now. But Verla had a way better run through Blanchimont. Look at that. Now on the inside of Gomez. Oh, Silva also launching it up. I think they touched just slightly, but both cars still going strong. And behind that is Auguste Lan. And he's also looking to make a move, especially if these two now starting to fight even more and getting even slower.
Johan Kirjan looks like he's going to go through on Yuska Sport, the BMW Motorsport driver. Certainly under pressure from Kirjan, but yeah, just seeing how heavy those cars were under braking, Verla and Silva. Very impressive that they didn't actually connect back there. Here we go, up through a Rouge Radillon. Let's see whether Silva can get it done this time. He's going to be defensive as well against Paul August Lana up behind him, so he's going to be keeping an eye on this as they go down that camel. It doesn't look like Lana's got quite the toe that Silva has now. Does he try the inside, or is he going to try and go around the outside? Very good defensive work from Verla. Oh, the flash of the lights, the aggression. He's not happy about this, and he knows he's going to be forced to go around the outside. It will give him the inside line here, but look at Lana sideways coming into this one, hard on the brakes. He's keeping on Silva's back end, and it looks like Verla's going to hold on, but it's Silva that needs to defend.
Yeah, Verla did a great job there on Camel Straight. He didn't open the inside, and Silva was just not willing yet to commit to the outside and trying to run around I think it was Geisler doing before. So that was on him here, and Verla did a great job. August Alane nearly close enough to also get involved in this fight, but so far he still has to step back. Look at that. The gap every single time increases a bit once we hit the 2nd sector, and same in the 3rd, and then Camel Stripe brings him back into the fight.
Yeah, there's going to be, I would say, 2 laps left after this. Again, Verla, very defensive position. Silva's got to be careful. He's really trying to make this overtake stick, and he's leaving himself very open to Paul August Lana to try and sneak on through. And these two have raced each other for a good few years now, so they're well aware of one another. But Silva right on the rear end. I think just a little bit of tapping once again there, just to reassure the Verla that he is still there. Not that you can miss that giant orange BMW in the mirrors.
Yeah, it's definitely not hard to spot at all, and that's good, right? Because there's so much going on every single time that you want to make sure that's easy to spot. You, Silva up the inside and outside of Blanchimont. Look at that fight going into the chicane now. Ken Verla once again defended. Augustus Lana is pushing from the back as well, and Silva once again has to go to the outside, stepping a bit into the car. Launching it over the curb right in there, and that might be the big chance for Auguste Lana here to also make a move. Lucas Verla will not be happy about Diogo Silva passing that way, and let's hope that La Source will look good for all of them. late on the brakes.
Whoa!
Run on the outside.
Absolutely sends it around the outside, and now look at this, Delorme getting involved as well, the TX3 driver. They're all looking to try and steal the toe from one another. That's what they're battling for. That's why they're bumping back and forward, trying to get the best toe that they can. Verla going down to 7th place, Paul August Lana up into 5th because of that. He was the main man, and honestly, it was Diogo Silva that was just a little aggressive going into the final corners there at the chicane, as you say. In fairness, Verla, I feel, kind of parked his car almost to say, no, you won't pass. And now look at Verla. Verla's weaving left and right. They know that this is the final lap here. And Verla's going to try and go inside. That's a little too aggressive, getting a little too slidey. And Silva will hold him in there. But Delorme looking to try and benefit from all this.
Yeah, definitely wants to make a move around there. Once that fight heats up again, that's Michael Smeedle on 3rd. And
he's pits.
There's no mandatory pit stop in this series. I'm absolutely
Did he have
sure
a penalty?
about that one.
I missed the penalty. Did he have a penalty? He must have. I can only imagine he had a penalty in there, because there's no way he's just letting needracing.com and giving up his €300 and just saying, I don't need that. That's absolutely must have been a penalty. Biovsky, the current leader, of course, but this is the battle right now. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, all on each other's door. And obviously, Paul August Lana, what a great finish it will be for him to get up into 5th place. Started out in 10th, going sideways around there, a little bit too squirrely. That gave Silva and Verla a real chance to get on his heels as they're going to come through. This is going to be very tight. There's a penalty for Dries. Which one, though? Was that to Philip or was that to Johannes? Because that will be punishing. If it's Johannes, it means Geisler will be taking that ticket away in 3rd place. That will absolutely hurt. I don't know which one it's going to be. We'll find out. We'll get race control on that one just in a moment as these 4 cars race for the final lap.
Yeah, it's like we hear Aidan Millwall ask if it was fuel. It could have been fuel, definitely, for Michael Smeedle. Erniowski is just wiggling a bit. Twerking over the line, basically, but this fight is still on. Lucas Whoa. On the outside, he gets touched by Silva and sent into the grass, but he holds onto the car, gets back around Delorme. Silva gets spun around. Lucas Verla will lose the position, though, to Delorme, and August Lana will be the one that gets inside the top 5 after this huge fight was going on for the last 3 laps. An absolutely incredible finish, but I'm sure we will have heated up discussions about what happened there, because that was massive. Philip Dries also came in. All right. Now I'm so confused. Why did everyone have to come in because they were running out of fuel? That would have been crazy.
He had the penalty, if you remember. I assume that the penalty came through, so I assume that maybe was. And also, as I say, in terms of going over the line, Yayovsky went over the line with about 10 to 15 seconds left, which I think caught everyone off guard. His pace maybe gave them that extra lap, and it could well have been fuel for a couple of them.
Yeah, that's definitely very likely, right? And not everyone is accounting for the raw pace of Erniowski in terms of fuel, but Johannes Dries still listed as 2nd.
So is Philip Dries.
Yeah, Philip Dries was gone, and Johannes Dries gets the golden ticket towards the grand finale at the end of the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup. Yayovsky gets another €500 for winning here. He already got a ticket, so he's safe. Geisler, that's the next driver without a ticket, but at least he gets some cash of this race. Paul August Lana really having the upper hand in the very last fight here for 4th position. Delorme in 5th for virtual drivers by TX3. Unfortunately, his next teammate is only in 8th. Lucas Verla, after a ton of contact, I would say, with Diogo Silva, can be quite happy about still being 6th. And Tobias Scheuerle, another neat Racing.com driver. And then all the way down in 10th, it's Michael Smeedle, who was 3rd the entirety of the race, but seems like he ran out of fuel.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly a bit of a yobbish finish, I think, from 5th down to 9th there. They certainly got very involved with it, and there may see some penalties adjusting that, but some great drives overall. It does mean that Johannes Dries from needracing.com, who finished 2nd, will be picking up that finals ticket with just 1 ticket now remaining for Indianapolis. It is a stacked grid. There's no doubt about that one. That is some pretty big names to be racing in that finals.
Yeah, it will be a great event to watch, I'm absolutely sure about that. And talking about great events to watch, we're not heading over to Indianapolis just now. Although it says round 6 Indianapolis, that's on the 18th of October. Instead, we stay in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps and just get the BMWs into the pits and back into the paddock. Everyone has to properly clean and more or less repair dents and stuff like that around these cars after what we just saw. Instead, head over and bring the GTEs onto the grid for the big rFactor 2 GT Pro Series powered by Traction.gg, the best GT drivers in the world. Heading over to the second to last round here, finding a new champion that this year won't be Erniowski as he dropped out after Season 3 due to the results there. So it will be very interesting how that one will end. And I think it's you, Lee, right? And Aidan Millward covering that one.
Absolutely, it's going to be fantastic stuff, and I think we should go to the break and get ready to go for the GT Pro Series. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GT Pro Series. I'm Lee Smith, as you've just seen. We just covered the BMW Series, but Aidan Millward is joining me, who, well, has been here the whole series, in fairness. Well, I was the one that disappeared, but Aidan, you've had some fantastic races while I've been gone. The last one especially, overtaking everywhere it was Loch Lomond, wasn't it? Or was it Lime Rock? Oh, wait. Which one was it? It was Loch Lomond. I'm questioning myself here. Some fantastic races. And I'm just going to say, Aidan's had some fantastic races of his own in the Formula Challenge.
They've not been that good, but the last time out at Loch Lomond was fantastic to watch. We saw overtakes happening around the outside, the inside, both sides, and it was great to see Yoni Simic hang on for that long-awaited first win. So hopefully he can continue that form here at Spa, especially with the stuff we just saw in the BMWs, with all the slipstream down Kemmel and then up to the chicane and through Blanchimont and things like that. But with the prospect of track limits being quite harsh here on the exit of places like Stavelot through Eau Rouge and the walls as well, as we've seen in previous seasons, cars ending up there on lap 1. It's going to be horrible for any drivers that end up in a wall or end up getting penalties, because we're using the full endurance pit lane here today. So it's the one that takes about 25 years to traverse if you have got a penalty.
Absolutely, it is a very, very long pit lane. Now, the cars are sort of getting qualification underway, so we'll try and jump straight to it and get things going. But if you have just joined us and you weren't sure what's going on, they are the GTE cars that are being used. 6 different cars available to you, not the GT3s, the GTEs. GT3s are being used in the GT Challenge series. It can get confusing, but here in the GT Pro, we are using the GTEs. This is, as you see, season 4 seasons already. Go on, it's been going a long time. I'd love to see it. And as you can see, it will be a 15-minute qualification. That is going on right now. And of course, those qualification will be setting up for the sprint race. And then, of course, after the 15-minute sprint race, we'll be going into that 45-minute main race. And the qualification results will stand. It won't, obviously, previous seasons, we've used the sprint race finishing to reverse, but we will carry on with their qualification. So if they get pole position, they'll be starting in 10th place in the 45-minute main race. And as you can see, they have just small fuel tanks requiring to make a pit stop. And as Aidan just pointed out, it is a long blooming pit stop.
It's very, very long. We're trying to work out how long it takes. It actually takes about 30 seconds to get from the end of the Formula garages, the ones that we're used to seeing, to the start of the endurance pits, and then you get spat out at the top of Radion as well onto the racing line pretty much. So everyone's going to have to be very careful, especially if they're flying through there too wide, trying to battle and things like that. So the actual feature race is going to be fantastic, especially if you have qualified near the back. Because one thing to note here as well, Lee, is that if you qualify like 17th but then finish 11th, you start 17th in the next race. You don't start in 11th like we had before. So it's not just the reversal of the top 10 qualifiers. Everybody else will start where they qualified behind that as well. So, if you've managed to climb up the field in the first race, you've got to do it all again.
Got to do it all again, but you're going to have a longer time to do it. As you can see, prize money all the way down the field from first down to 30th. And of course, championship prize money right out there right now. At the moment, it's Yuri Topman, isn't it, that's leading the charge for Varga Sim Racing. You may see a couple of names that you've just seen in the BMW Sim M2 Cup, but not too many. I didn't see too many names that are in the GT Pro. Got to obviously keep the focus in there. They may actually be able to, I don't know whether the time would have worked, right? Getting from the BMW series into the qualifying. I don't think they would have been able to quite do it so quick. But they are given plenty of time to qualify. It is a private session. So no worries about getting caught up by any other cars out there. And some really top competition throughout the GT Pro Series. It's a heavily fought competition. All the best teams out there are going to be taking part. So it is fantastic to watch, and it's great to be back, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, with all the prize money on offer as well, people are going to be fighting for every available position. But you were talking about how the competition is tight. I've just got the standings for the championship in my hand with the drop scores put on, and Yuri Toman for Varga Sim Racing is leading the championship by 1 single point. And there is his teammate Marcel Chinchik in the Aston Martin flying up towards the bus stop chicane. Well, it's not really the bus stop chicane anymore, but we still call it the bus stop chicane because nostalgia and all that good stuff. He's actually fastest overall in the middle sector, half a second up there. And he's going to come across the line, and he will go from 14th up into the top 3, almost guaranteed. And he's in 7th.
Well, he had
that's anticlimactic.
A bad third there. Risto Caput, though, did go into the top 3. So there you go. We kind of got there in the Corvette. Let's see whether Damon Rochek can do any better. Purple in the second. He goes third and knocks Risto Caput down. Alex Siebel, fantastic drive for him in the previous races. Got himself a second in the sprint and third in the main race. Cracking points for him. He's looking fantastic and certainly climbing up the table at the moment. Currently third in the championship. As you say, just I think 8 points behind first place. So definitely looking to improve his time. The Red Bull Racing Esports man has been put in some times in. It's great to see, for me, the development that Alex Siebel has had over the last 2 seasons in the GT Pro.
Yeah, he was so close to winning it last season. That was taken by Jan van der Heijden at that finale at Indianapolis. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. But like you say, Alex Siebel just 8 points off the lead. He's 7 behind Jone Simičić with that 1 point difference between the two. And Dennis Jordan as well, big shout out to him. He's been doing very, very well. And Red Bull in general have managed to do something wondrous with that Corvette to extract all the pace out of that new C8 that they're using, as opposed to the C7 that we're seeing here, driven by Jakub Kuba Brzezinski.
Yeah, it's been a busy boy as Jakub. A lot of racing across the last week, no doubt about it. But here he is, currently the pole sitter, as it were. We'll see whether he can improve on that. Currently on his outlap, so just going to get those tyres warm. Kevin Siggy also up there in second place as well. Great to see. Luis Felipe Capamargian for the HM Engineering, the only driver of HM Engineering, I believe, in this series. Not too many of those left at the moment, but currently down in 19th position, looking to improve his time. Half a second faster almost in that first sector, so definitely going to be a big improvement on his own personal time. We'll see whether he can get himself up there. And as I was mentioning, we're talking about obviously the names in the BMW series. There's a lot of big names in this series. Everybody that's anybody in the rFactor 2 series certainly wants to be involved in this. Obviously, we just had the Formula Pro series coming to its conclusion last week. Great to see that. But here in the GT Pro, we have one more race after this. We will be going into a 6th round over in Indianapolis. Capamargian, though, purple in the second sector. I tell you what, there's a lot of people going purple in that second sector. There's a lot of time to be made there. But this is where they're losing the time, this third sector.
Yeah, the first and third sectors are very speed dependent, very straight line dependent. You've got the run from the source up to Lake Com, which is pretty much flat even in these things. And then you've got the run from Stavolo all the way up to the bus stop is also flat. So if you've got a car that's held back by engine power, restrictor, and the other bits of BOP that they do to try and keep these cars as equal as possible, then you're just going to be a sitting duck. And we saw it at Monza as well. Some of the cars, like the BMW, were not particularly quick around Monza.
Peter Briliak, the Williams teammate. We'll see whether he can improve himself. It was interesting for me that some of the teams chose to have the same cars, but some teams chose different. Obviously, as we had the draft show at the start of the season, and the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes when you do have different cars, obviously you're looking at different setups, etc. So for Jakub Brzezinski in the Corvette, he certainly seems to have it dialed in currently as he goes purple once again in that first sector. The Corvette definitely carrying the pace, no doubt about it. I think I just saw 4 Corvettes in the top 5 there. So they're definitely carrying the pace around the first 2 sectors here.
You've got Brzezinski currently fastest overall, and then you've got Siggy in that big red machine that is the BMW M8, just a 600th or 700th of a second in behind. Then it's Mrocek in another Corvette. Then you've got Capit in a Corvette, and then Ibrahim Khan in an Aston Martin that's carrying weight, remember. And then Simičić there in 6th in his Ferrari. So we've got mostly Corvettes there, but we've got the BMW there. I think the next BMW is Ravio in 14th. Yeah, it is. So the varying success levels with the BMWs at the minute, but Brzezinski 3/10 slower in that middle sector, so that's not gone very well for him. He might be able to cause some of that back through this final sector, as you can see. Foot absolutely pinned to the floor up to Blanchimont, and then you've got the run out of Stavolo all the way up to the chicane. It's very momentum based, and it's like Monza. If you have a bad exit of one of the corners, the amount of kilometers an hour that you're pulling as you hit the brakes is going to be a little bit less, and you're going to lose a lot of time that way.
Yeah, all about the smoothness around the back of the circuit, really. So let's see, can he improve his time as he goes over the line? He does get a purple third sector. Didn't really improve his time though. Risto Capit now coming in second place, so he has improved his time, so that's worked out well while that was happening. Nikita Wisniewski, purple in that second sector, green in the first. Can he improve his placement? No, stays down in 12th. It was looking like he was going to get better, but Alex Siebel still down in 11th. Jone Simičić, the second place in the championship, just 1 point off the lead right now on Yuri Toma. And where is Yuri Toma? Down in 13th at the moment. So this is definitely from a championship perspective, this is going to be wide open, I feel.
Well, yeah, Thomas Bayers just pointed out in chat that the Corvette is pulling 274 kilometers an hour at its top speed, while the Porsche is only doing 267.
That's quite
That's
difference.
quite a pace deficit.
When you have the Camel Straight, that's such a huge, long back straight, and then obviously the sweeping corners, that is going to be quite a problem. They may get picked apart down that straight. We'll see how it works out for them. Yoni Simičić, though, let's see if he can improve his time. Green in the first sector, certainly gone a lot better out there in the Audi as he... you know what? I don't remember him not being in the Audi at any time. I'm trying to think across the championships, like of all the series he's run. I think it's like all the way back to season 1. I'm pretty sure it was an Audi then.
I think he might have used a Corvette when it was the Corvette Cup a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, so the Ferrari this time around, of course, no Audis in the GTE, so he's been forced to do something else.
Using all the exit there on the exit of Fania, lock of the brakes into Stavolo, use all of that curb possible. You can get one of the many track limit warnings there. And you can get one on the exit of that sort of second part of Stavolo, Paul Ferrer, I think it's called, as you come out towards Blanchimont. Edge of Blanchimont as well, track limits can get you there. So if you force wide, you're going to be picking up something that's not necessarily your fault. If you take too much of that green tarmac on the entry, there's a track limits warning there as well. So you've got to be super careful around here. And we saw people picking up the track limit penalties in the BMWs. We saw so many penalties of BMWs at Lime Rock as well, and I think there was a lot in GT Challenge at Lime Rock as well. So they're going to have to be super careful with how they fight and how they go about their business, trying to catch up to people. As Simičić puts in an absolute blinder of a lap there. Yeah. End of qualifying has just the bell has just rung on that. Marcel Chinchik fastest overall middle sector. So everybody's going very quick in that middle sector, or it's just very close in that middle sector. Hits the brakes to get his Aston Martin pulled up, uses a bit of the sausage curb on the inside, uses the curb on the inside of the second part, gets the power down, traction control on these cars, but no ABS, remember, up to, that's not actually the timing line, I get confused with that one because I'm so used to it being there, and he comes across the line and goes 8th, right at the end.
So that improves, and the big difference is, of course, in terms of championship leaders, Yuri Toman down in 14th out there at the moment. Darren Rocek, by the way, 5th place, had improved his time a moment ago, so he went up to 5th, got Abraham Khan down to 6th, but he may go better again. Can he beat his teammate into 4th place? No, pulled out. Did he not want to? Was his teammate like, no, stop?
Or did he forget where the timing line was? He must have been down on that and just like, there's no point. So that's it from qualifying as we get the beautiful look up the steep incline. Well, Radion translates to steep climb. That's the Haruj and Radion section that they're going to go flying through in about 5 minutes from now. So we'll get the qualifying results up. And I think we might actually have a slide for the actual championship standing so you'll know who's where and who to watch out for.
I feel like Rocek just got that call that Bottas got. Can you not do a fastest lap right now? Can you pull out? But this is the championship as it stands. I was talking about Yuri Toman. He's down in 14th. Current championship leader, Simičić, up in 5th position on second, just 1 point behind you. Alex Siebel, he's looking good. Ibrahim Khan, he's currently in 6th place on the grid as well, so chances for him. Chinchik, we just saw him coming over the line. We're talking points. There's a lot of points to be had here, of course, throughout the sprint race. As you can see, there's 2 races, 15-minute sprint, 45-minute main race. A lot of points to be had. And the drivers can also choose which race they would like to remove. If they have a particularly bad race, then they can remove one. I don't think Spa's going to be it, unless maybe they have a particularly bad one, like, so for example, Pev, who missed out on Loch Drummond last time around.
Yeah, I think it's actually the worst overall race that gets taken automatically. So if it is your worst race and you want to get rid of that, it's getting taken away anyway. I'm not sure if the rule of the last race not being able to count as a drop round is the same as it was last year. So we'll need to get confirmation from Jimmy Allison on that one. But there is Yuri Toman at the top. Jone Simičić just 1 point in it. Jone has definitely been the more consistent driver, but he had that bad round at Lime Rock, and that's just made 1 point in it overall, losing that combined score of 87 and 97 from Lime Rock. And then Alex Siebel still in a shot of doing it. If he has a great race here, he can probably get into the ahead, maybe of Simičić at the end of this event. And then right down the bottom, President Martino, Jan van der Heide, who haven't shown up for the last few races. I think with people going back to work and other series on, people just don't have the time for it anymore. So it's sad to not see the champion on the grid, Kevin Rossi and the others down there in the relegation zones as well. So decent spread across the series, but only the top 15 get points in the sprint race, and then everybody gets points provided that you finish the race in the feature afterwards.
So, Jakub Brzezinski going to be on pole position, currently sitting in 14th in the championship, 519 points for him. So keep your eyeballs certainly on him. And close behind him, Kevin Siggy, currently 7th in the championship. Risto Capit, of course, he's in there, but he's got a lot of work to do. Down in 20th in the championship. Yuni Simicic, as you pointed out, 2nd in the championship. He's definitely going to be the one to watch. David Rocek down in 5th place. His teammate for Burst Esports, Ibrahim Khan, carrying weight, but still managing to get himself 6th place. Alex Seymour, some fantastic results for him in previous races. They see if he can improve. Nuno Pinto in 9th for Fordzilla. Dennis Jordan in 10th. He's had some great results. Yuri Kastup, also his teammate Red Bull Racing, but it's Kasper Stoltz down in 12th. Nikitin Wisniewski in 13th. Yuri Toman, the current championship leader, in 14th, along with a lot of work to do there. Peter Briliak in 15th. Yunus Rabio down in 16th position. Kappa Magic for the HM Engineering in 17th. Michi Hoya for Burst Esports in 18th. Shiara for Butler Power Motorsports down in 19th position. And Jordi Spheres in 20th, rounding out the top 20. Cito Via, a lot of work to do down for Sancho there in 21st. Kevin Rotti for the TX3, we've just seen a lot of action from, along with Luca D'Amelio alongside him. Pio Pev all the way down, as we're talking about the speed that the Porsche can lax on the straight, down in 25th. Ferry Stanley in 26th for Sancho, and Andonovski rounding out the grid down in 27th in the Ferrari.
Yeah, Andonovski right down at the back of the grid. I don't know if that's because he couldn't get a good lap in or if he's just lacking pace or practice around here, but he won the feature race at Lime Rock. And also, who else was it? It was Michi Hoya down there in 18th. He's currently 8th overall. He's got a win to his name at Sebring, the sprint race there. 8th with 554 points. So Michi's going to have a lot of work to do in this sprint race. He's also going to have to be very careful with how everybody will bunch up into La Source at the start, as well as people trying to fire their way through Eau Rouge as the field heads up towards Fagnes Campus.
So I should point out, it's a 15-minute sprint race. No pit stops required for this. We're going to the main race. That'll be a 45-minute main race. Pit stops will be in that one. 15-minute sprint race. This is all about how quick you can go, whether you can break on through, and starting out at the front there. Jakub Brzezinski is going to be the man to try and defend. He's got the Burst Esports boys, red line there of Kevin Siggy, Risto Capit, all closing in and around him. And of course, Yanis Simicic looking to try and solidify the championship maybe before the final race. This is going to be very tense as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radillon and down that Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, I'm hoping that... sorry, I'm trying to do about 7 different things at once. Hoping that Risto Capit has a better run, because he seems to start off near the front and go really well. Then it seems to go horribly wrong for him. So if he can get himself out of that sort of relegation playoff today, he should be okay for Indianapolis. But we'll watch out for him as we look at Timotej Andonovski right at the back. Normally have 30 drivers in the race. We've only got 27. We're missing Matt Richards and Jan van der Heide, and we're also missing President Martono as well. So only 27 of the 30 on the grid. So still going to get some epic racing around here. We often do. And the field is coming through the chicane right now, and soon we'll be seeing them go flying up towards La Source.
Andonovski, as you say, 10th in the championship, but down there, and now he's looking to try and get his position, and away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jakub Brzezinski already losing out on the start. He should have it as they go into the first corner, but that Red Bull driver, R8 Esports, challenging him around there. Risto Capit, also red line of Siggy. You're losing out at the start there, trying to get him close in, but Simicic and Rocek going to be keeping close, but tabs on them as Ibrahim Khan sleeps on through. It's looking pretty clean as they move up to Eau Rouge and Radillon. Let's see how they can sweep on through. Looking good as they come out and then down the Campbell Straight. But look at this. Immediately, Risto Capit launches his attack past Brzezinski. He's going to be down the straight. Is he going to be able to hold it going into the corner? I don't think so. He's not got his nose in front. Realizes he can't make it around the outside.
Yeah, if he had managed to get around the outside, he would have the inside for the second part of Lacon, but then Brzezinski would have the inside for the next corner. So it's going to be win-lose, win-lose. You see Simicic trying to get up the inside of Kevin Siggy into Brussels here. And is that David Rocek as well, having a bit of a sniff, but then they've got the Red Bull and the Rocket Esports cars of Siebel and Khan respectively in behind them. Chinchik in 8th, Pinto in 9th, Jordan in 10th. And the field seems to have got through the first sort of sector and a half very, very cleanly. I think Jonas Rabio may have got swamped and sort of robbed and mobbed and all sorts of obbed down the Kemmel Straight, but he seems to be okay. He's only lost that one position down into 15th. So the field's very, very nicely spread. No contact, no biffing and barging as we normally see in some of these races. And we've got another 13 minutes and 28 seconds to go.
I want to keep my eye on Chinchik. I feel like he's made some work. Ferris Stanley, he was down the back of the grid. I think there's Andonovsky on the left of him there as well. And that's Pev right in front of him. Let's see what's going to happen here. Connects with Andonovsky. And Ferris Stanley will collect him there. The Zancho driver just a little too pacey maybe in there as they try and turn in. Back to the front of the grid right now. Sigi loses out to Simičić, and that's great news for Simičić, who will be the championship leader at the end of this race if it stays as is. Marcel Chinchik, by the way, has made some pace up as well. I can see his 8th there. Just a little love tap on the rear of Kevin Sigi. Not too sure he's going to be too appreciative there, but it looks like he was on the brakes just about as hard as he can as we complete the first lap.
Yeah, red line BMW almost eclipsing that Corvette in behind him, given the size of that thing. Here is Simičić on the back of the big red machine. Is he going to outbrake him into Lake Carmen? Probably having a sniff down the inside of the 2 cars ahead. And he's going to hit the curb on the inside and just hug that inside and then round the outside. And this is what I was talking about. Then takes the inside for the next corner, and then he'll have the inside for Brazils and then onwards. So very, very tactical as here we go. Here is Davin Rocek having a go at Sigi now.
Yeah,
one of the Red Bulls as well are getting into this. He's almost been zonted.
Alex Siebel, yeah. Alex Siebel has completely gone around both sides of him, and Alex Siebel sneaked through, and Kevin Sigi caught napping there. A little bit of dust being kicked up as they try and get a little squirrely there. Sigi having to back off, but he will not be happy with that, no doubt about it. Down to 6th place from a 3rd place start. Simičić and Rocek, I thought when Rocek was looking to get through when Simičić went through, but makes it work down the Kemmel there. And coming straight out Lacombe, it's where it's really the perfect spot to pick the pockets, and we already saw like the speed differential. And we're talking about the Corvette going 274. I wonder what the BMW could do down that back straight. You got to feel it's got to be close though, but there it looked like the Corvette's absolutely picked his pocket.
And the Corvette started to pull away as well. Now you've got Ibrahim Khan having a sniff at Marcel Chinchik into Fania here. But I'm expecting Sigi to be under attack from the Varga and the Rocket Simsport car within the next lap and a half or so, because he seems to be slipping slowly backwards at this point.
I feel like I'm the curse of Kevin Sigi. Every time I'm casting him, he's having to be defensive. I just love to catch him as attacking. I look back at the previous race and I see that he did fantastically well. I'm thinking, what have I done? I've cursed him again. I don't think he's going to be too happy with me, but he got himself 3rd place in the sprint at Loch Drummond. But right now, he is under pressure, and that's great news for Alex Siebel, by the way, who's had 2 fantastic drives before. He is 3rd in the championship, so he's going to want to keep as close to Yerny Simičić as he can. And you can see Sigi under attack once again there. Yunus Ravio here, the front bonnet of him as he chases down Nikitin Wisniewski, trying to get some work done on that driver from Williams. Kasper Stoltz also with Yuri Toman down in 13th still. A lot of work for him to do to try and get on this. This is going to be the replay. Look how far back he is from Sigi.
Yeah, I think one of or both of them must have backed out ever so slightly. Siebel might have kept his foot absolutely pinned through there. You can see the green bar at the bottom. That's his throttle input. And that's like Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher and Ricardo Zonta. That is just been done by both of them.
Absolutely, he just picked the pocket. But yeah, I mean, he was quite far back going through Vadilon. It was he's under defense again. Look at this. This is Chinchik now coming through. I don't think there's much he can do about this at the moment, because he's going to look to sneak through, and there
that was almost a tragedy.
Very nearly wiped him out there.
That's
but look at this, the lead.
Half.
Risto Capit goes around the outside of Jakub Brzezinski, and he takes 1st position. Fantastic work from Risto. And look at Yerny Simičić. He is looking to try and get further up the field as well.
Yeah, it's not often you see an overtake around the outside of Malmedy as they come through No Name, Speaker's Corner, X Corner, whatever we're calling it this week, and then up towards Pouon. So yellow in sector 2. We'll see what that's for in a minute. If that stays out for a long time, it's staying out for quite a bit, but now it's been cleared. And then Brzezinski goes a bit too deep into Pouon, and that's Yerny Simičić now right up the back of that Corvette.
Yeah, looking to try and catch him. Jakub Brzezinski, yes, he's a veteran driver, but he seems to be a little bit flapped right now. I think he was caught off guard by Risto going around the outside of him. What a move that was. Alex Siebel looking to try and get as close as he can to Yerny Simičić. Davin Rocek, of course, the Burst Esports teammate, going to be protecting him as best he can. But Marcel Chinchik on the charge as well in that Varga Sim Racing car. It does look like, certainly on the straight, I'm not so sure whether Simičić, how much that Ferrari can do in comparison to his Corvette. Certainly seems to have it, no doubt about it. And and we were talking about obviously the Porsche's lacking, but the Ferrari definitely doesn't seem to be. You were talking about under pressure. Rocket once again on the move. Ibrahim Khan carrying extra weight or not. He is all over Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, Siggy's struggling in that BMW. Seemed to be okay in qualifying trim, but a little bit of fuel in it. It seems to want to go backwards. This is Dennis Jordan now making a move, or he's trying to make a move on the Rocket Sim Sport car. There's cars everywhere. So you've got Jordan, Siebel, Khan, Siggy, and Chinchik all fighting here. And this is the replay of the RHG car of Risto Capit and the Williams Esports car of Jakub Brzezinski. And you're just going to see Capit just swing it round the outside of Malmedy and take the lead of the race.
Beautiful to watch. Lovely, clean racing. Siggy on the defensive. There you go through Radalon, and he's just going to get picked apart. I think he knows he can't do much about it. Look at this, the bump drafting down the Kemmel. You love to see it. Yuri Kastorp, I know he's going to be streaming this, and he's going to be loving it. Dennis Jordan trying to follow him behind. Ibrahim Khan having to be defensive as to go through once again. But Kevin Siggy, oh man alive, he's down to 10th from 3rd.
Yeah, a bit of a chirp on the brakes for Ibrahim Khan as he went into Lake Carmen. Now you've got Brzezinski coming back at Capit through No Name, and he's just not got that front end grip. The Corvette's starting to pull away again.
Yeah, he just had a little attack there. You can see Brzezinski, but that didn't work out for him. Does look like Simicic had backed away a little bit, so you can see he's now within biting distance of Jakub Brzezinski, but this is looking great for Risto Capit. I know he was in the chat watching the BMW series, so it's great to see the driver, just get himself warmed up, relaxed, keeping himself involved. This is Kevin Siggy, the exit from Radalon at sea, and you can just look at his mirror. Look at that rear view mirror. It's just got cars nipping at his heels. There's really not a lot he can do about it. It's great. I think he realized he's not being ultra defensive. He's just like, you know what? I can't do anything about it.
The car's barely hitting 270 even when it did eventually pick up the slipstream. So BMW's straight line speed not particularly good once it's got fuel in it, as we're now riding the roof of Dennis Jordan. Just 0.3 of a second or so behind his teammate. You can see the slipstream just kicking in, getting closer and closer and closer to Siebel. We'll see what happens here. Does he try and make a move into the corner? No, he's just going to stick him behind his teammate for now.
Yeah, you got to be very careful when your teammates involved, especially with these drivers. Some of these are all fighting for the title at the moment. I mean, Dennis Jordan in 6th place right now, so certainly within shouting distance, of course. As you say, Siebel in 3rd as well, so everybody looking to try and get involved. Kastorp, he's got a bit of work to do, but he's certainly possible. He's down in 9th, so all these Red Bull drivers with a lot of work to do, but a lot of points to be taken here. That's Brzezinski getting wiggly. Oh, that may be an opening gap for Simicic, but Simicic is not close enough.
Yeah, but did you see also what Brzezinski did before going to Eau Rouge? He pulled out of the slipstream, so when he got to the top of the hill, then he'd be able to get the slingshot if he could get it. But that wobble is, I hope his overalls are a dark colour. Let's just say that.
Rocek's just having a look at Simicic there, I noticed. The Bercy Sports driver, I don't think Simicic will be happy about it, but you know what? Racing is racing. There's no doubt about it. Whether the teammates or not, there's no reason for orders. Darren Rocek's certainly in with a chance of the championship as well. He's trying to put his marker down and get himself further up the field. 22nd at the moment, 497 points. So he is just under 90 points adrift of Yerny Simicic. So a lot of work for him to do, but a good result here will certainly help his case. And let's not forget all these drivers. We are into the penultimate race here. That was a lot of grass he was taking now. It's just like...
He was riding the green tarmac, straddling it to open up poo on. Is that even legal? There's Jakub Brzezinski just catching that slide and probably breathing one hefty sigh of relief.
I think he caught a slide of his own in his pants there as well.
That's not fun. I hope that's not a direct drive wheel he's using as well, because if that hit the wall, that could have been nasty.
Rip his arms off, no doubt about it. That thing can do some damage, but he managed to catch it, and that's really the beauty of it in the end there. But looking further back, Michi Hoyer just ahead here. I can't see who that is behind, actually. It's not Pierre Pev, is it? It's one of the Porsches. Is it Pierre Pev? Looks like the Butler Pal.
That's Nuno Pinto that we're on board with. And that's one of the Williams Esports cars going up the inside. And behind that is one of the Jacer cars. So Nuno Pinto on board. Yeah, Wisniewski in the Porsche. It's Porsche on Porsche action here, both 15th and 16th. And then there's another Porsche in behind that as well. So yeah, the Porsche's not really having a good time out there tonight.
No, not the circuit for them, it seems. Obviously, the straight line speed definitely lacking, as has been pointed out earlier on, as is the BMW. So quite a few of these cars really struggling for pace on what is a pretty leggy circuit overall. Jordi Zviers, another one that's down there as well. Nuno Pinto said very much a Porsche battle as they try and blast through. Speaking of blasting through, that is David Rocek taking over his Burst Esports teammate Yerni Simicic as he moves up to the podium position in third.
Yeah, that might have been a tactical move. Try and get Marocek some extra points in the championship battle. Where is he currently? David Marocek.
Oh, just off the circuit there. Yuri Toman does get past Michi Hoyer. Speaking of Burst Esports being defensive, obviously Michi Hoyer trying to hold it back for his teammates there to keep Yuri Toman back. Yuri Toman, the current championship leader, but only by 1 point. That will not be the case at the end of the sprint race.
Yeah, I've just found Risto Cabot 20th, David Marocek 22nd. They're going to make some big gains at the end of this race. That should jump them up the standings quite a bit away from
he's doing it again. Look,
relegation. Yeah. Is that even legal, Jimmy? Can we have a look into that, please?
There's a few of them doing it. That was Yunus Ravio doing it there.
Yeah, trying to open up Puon as much as possible. So they must know something that we don't. But it's a interesting strategy, Carlton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting tactic. Great to see where these guys can just open up that track just a little bit more to straighten things out as much as they possibly can. Obviously, with the battle between the two Burst Esports drivers, it has left them 2 seconds adrift, and I'm just wondering if, as you say, that was just a tactical decision. Certainly wasn't much defensive action being taken by Yerni Simicic there, so he's let him past. It means Alex Seabor's still up into 5th. Obviously, we also have Shinchik in 6th, Dennis Jordan in 7th. He's got past Ibrahim Khan, so we've missed that move. So Ibrahim Khan down to 8th now, and Risto Capit, the two Red Bull drivers, splitting the Rocket Esports driver. Brzezinski having a little peek as we have a look back. This is Michi Hoyer. Let's see how this is going to be. If it's from Michi Hoyer, we're looking at the draft position. That's what we're looking at.
That was Ravio straddling the concrete and the tarmac with the grass in between. You can't do that in the Formula Pro car. I've tried it. In the hot lap qualifiers, it doesn't like it because it's too low to the ground. But I'm back on board with Jakub Brzezinski. Half a second deficit to Risto Cabot. So that Corvette's definitely got something in a straight line. As we look back at Dennis Jordan, Marcel Chinchik now, is there going to be a move into Lake Khan? We've got Ibrahim Khan now in 9th position. So Ibrahim Khan dropping backwards. Maybe when he had that lockup, it sort of ruined his tyres a little bit through Lake Khan, and then the Corvette in front just getting a little bit of a slide on, but seems to be all under control. Up through Malmedy, then down the hill into Brussels. And it looks like the top 10 will be as is, barring any accidents and incidents towards the end. But there's Ibrahim Khan just going through a shot, following Yuri Kazdorp right in behind him. So maybe an attack into the chicane. I wouldn't put it past Ibrahim Khan to do that. Great
work from Dennis Jordan, though. You see him once again taking that route. But to get past, I think, Ibrahim Khan and Chinchik within 2 laps, he's sort of carved his way back up into 6th position on the back of Alex Seibel now. Obviously, both challenging each other for championship points because both in his fantastic position. 6th for Jordan, Alex Seibel in 3rd as well. So both really fighting for the championship overall. So the Red Bull team at the moment looking absolutely fantastic here at Spa-Francorchamps. But it will be Risto Capit as the clock strikes 0 on the final lap here. Risto Capit will be the winner of the sprint race. Now, just to remind you guys, positions will be reverting back to qualification positions where they follow in there, and it will be reverse grid. Don't worry, we'll explain it all. We'll show you all as we get there. But for Risto Capit, it has been a great maneuver, of course, going around the outside of Jakub Brzezinski, working wonders there as they do come through the final chicane. Brzezinski again as close as he can. Michi Hoyer also losing out to his teammate of the Burst Esports drivers on 3rd and 4th. So Risto Capit, your winner here on the sprint race. Alex Seibel and Dennis Jordan both over the line, 5th and 6th. What a race it was for the Red Bull drivers. They worked their way through the field. This, looking back further down, this is the end of the final lap here. So Kevin Rotting, that's the Zancho driver up the inside, and Jordi Zviers, I think, and that's P.O. Pev in the Butler Powell facing sideways, and Kevin Rotting in the end collecting the Zancho driver as well.
Yeah, that'll be right at the start of the race. So I know Kevin Rotting dropped off. We never got to see what happened, but now we know a little bit of chaos. So I take back everything I said about it being nice and clean at the start. But there is your results for the first race of the evening. Now, any other season, that top 10 will be turned on its head and Kasper Stoltz will be starting on pole position, but that's not the case. Whoever qualified on pole will start the race in 10th. But there's your top 10. Risto Capit, followed by Jakub Brzezinski. Close race between the two of them. Davin Marocek and Jene Simoncic making it a burst 3-4. That will be great for Marocek's championship, and also for Simoncic gaining a bit of extra gappage in the top of the standings. Alex Siebel in 5th and Dennis Jordan in 6th for Red Bull Racing Esports, and Marcel Cinchik in 7th for Vargas Sim Racing. Yuri Kazdorp didn't quite make it, a 5-6-7 for Red Bull. Ibrahim Khan dropping down to 9th over the course of that race for Rocket Simsport, and Kasper Stoltz for Jacer rounding out the top 10.
Kevin Siggy slipped all the way down to 11th from 3rd. That BMW, saw it down the straight, just didn't have the pace. Mitchell Hoyer up into 12th as well. Yuri Toman was the championship leader leading into the start of the race, will not be anymore. Yuri Toman in 13th for him. Yunus Ravi in 14th. Wisniewski down in 15th. Nuno Pinto, the Porsche battle begins. Wisniewski, Pinto and Zvias for Jean Alesi. Then Luca D'Amelio for BHK, TX3. Peter Pev, as you saw there, just making a little bit of ground up in the end after the spin at the start. 19th for him. Kapamajian for the HM Engineering driver in 20th. The final few drivers. A couple of DNFs going to be in here, I think, as well. Kevin Rotti was the DNF. Peter Briliak, Sinavaya, Andonovsky, Ferry Stanley, Schuneflit, and Chiara and Rotti, of course, as we saw. The reason why he was the DNF there is he got wiped out right at the start.
Unfortunate for Kevin Rotten, but he has another bite of the cherry coming up in about 5 minutes or so as we get everything sort of worked out with the drivers doing their warm-up to get used to a full tank of fuel, and they will have to pit. There will be no extreme fuel saving because it just wastes so much overall pace, and the fuel tank has been shrunk to make sure that they can't actually do 45 minutes, so they will have to stop for fuel. They may take tyres, they probably will take tyres because it's all concurrent. You'll be able to see if that happens while the cars just raise up on their jacks while they're taking the fuel. So 45 minutes around Spa, it's going to be pretty good, I think. The field might be a little bit more spread out. They probably won't try as many, won't probably see as many of them grouped together down the Kemmel Straight trying to overtake each other because they've got more time to get stuff done. But I wouldn't put anything past them because they're so good at racing that they can drive as close as they do without taking each other off.
And one thing that seemed to show throughout that was A, the Corvettes are fast, B, the Ferraris are fast as well. They were both really rounding out the entire top 10 as far as I know there. I think mainly poor old Kevin Siggy in the BMW, clearly lacking the pace down the straight there, which is where he was getting picked apart. He wasn't even trying to be defensive about it. No reason. He just simply getting outdone by 5 kilometers or something like that. But wasn't even able to hit 270, so 274 for the Corvette. So definitely a problem for him to look forward to. Of course, he qualified in 3rd, so he's going to be starting out in that 7th place this time around. And also, we should talk about this, Aidan. Perfect shot for it. A huge pit lane, huge.
It's a very, very long pit lane. I mean, in the olden days, that's where they used to start races before they moved it before La Source, but they kept the pit lane there so they could do all the endurance racing and stuff like that. But yeah, like I say, it takes about 30 seconds to clear what we call the new pit lane and get to the endurance pits that you can see down there at the bottom of the hill. So it probably takes about a minute or so to clear the entire pit lane. It's ridiculously long, and some drivers at the launch event for this track, they were trying to save fuel by putting it into 3rd gear and then clutching it down the hill, but they were getting done for speeding because the pit lane limiter didn't work because of gravity pulling them down, and that was something they worked out pretty quickly that they couldn't do. And then you can see one of the J-Cert cars coming up the hill, and then the racing line spits you out on the exit of Radeon onto the racing line, so they're going to have to be very, very careful when they're coming out. And here we are on board. So go and put the kettle on because it might take a while. And the other thing is, if you forget which version of the track you're running on, you'll take the pit lane speed limiter off back there, and then you'll be done for speeding by the time you get to here. But just look how long that is. It must be absolutely soul destroying if you get a penalty or have to get damage fixed.
Yeah, just chugging along. Or actually, we should say the pit limit to say going along. So and then you can see delicately pulls it out. And as you say, as you come out here, it's just straight into the racing line as they're sweeping through. So really, got to be careful as they come through. Going to be interesting to see, whether an undercut, overcut could work out for some of these drivers, how quick it's going to work out for them. I guess most of them will probably be pitting around the same time, but they generally do. But who knows? Maybe if they just get stuck behind someone, maybe they're just going to try and pull in early. See how it works out for them. Rocek working his way down. What a great drive from Rocek, by the way, to finish out in 3rd place overall. Started out in 5th, I believe, didn't he, overall? So great improvement for him. It does mean not too different for him. He's going to be starting out 6th place on the grid. So obviously we have that reverse grid with Yuri Simičić behind him this time. So he's going to be looking in a great position to try and improve on what could be a fantastic race weekend.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Ruben can put up a sort of live standings for that last race, because I'd like to see where Rocek has jumped up to, because Capit scored well. Obviously, he won that race, but like the people above him, like Stanley, Via, Schoenfleet, Richards. Obviously, Richards not here, but Schoenfleet, Via, Stanley didn't score in that race other than their participation points. So Rocek could probably be around 15th, 16th by just off that race up from 22nd. So a big gain, like I say, away from those relegation race places, because the bottom 5 are relegated immediately, like in football, and then the next 5 go into a relegation playoff along with the sort of ones who are looking to get promoted from Formula GC Challenge, which will be on Friday night. So they'll go into like a big race, and then the sort of the best performers in that race will stay or get promoted depending on how things go. So yeah, from Rocek to be away from that drop zone, and Capit as well, he'll be up sort of 14th as well. Just trying to see what other movers and shakers are around that area. I think those two have probably gained the biggest out of that race, and it's actually Capit's first podium finish of the season, despite having started near the front on more than one occasion in this series so far. And there's the Red Bull of Yuri Kazdorp straddling the grass.
Yeah, we were just watching it from his in-car perspective, and I kind of feel it's quite risky going into that, because if you don't quite hit the channel, you're suddenly, I'm on the grass, so this is going to be wrong. I mean, you definitely can't do it in the wet. It's obviously something you can only do when it's dry here. So, but it's definitely, I'd be interested to see how much it gains. Like, really, like, is it? I mean, obviously every little gain counts, but it's interesting to see that some were doing it, some weren't. Obviously, Kazdorp, just won that last race, so it certainly worked for him. But I wonder just how much it gains.
They're esports drivers. They've probably set the car up specifically to be able to do that for that 1,000th of a second that it gains. So there is your grid for the feature race. Nuno Pinto in the Porsche in second. Probably isn't going to stay there for very long if the pace of the Porsche is anything to go by. Ibrahim Khan will start in 5th, so no gain or loss for him, since he started 5th anyway. Rocek in 6th, Simičić in 7th, looking to get up towards the pointy end of the field. Kevin Siggy in 8th, that car will probably drop down as well if the last race is anything to go by. And then Capit and Brzezinski 9th and 10th, so that's the top 10 reverse. Kasper Stolzer, Yuri Kazdorp, and the rest of the grid will start exactly where they qualified. So in 13th will be Nick Wisniewski, 14th will be Yuri Toman, 15th Petr Briliak, 16th Jonas Ravio in that BMW, and then the rest of the field will be lining up in behind Lee.
Yeah, Michi Hoyer, see whether he can improve. Obviously, we saw him down in 18th, so he improved his positions quite heavily. I think he finished in 13th in that last race, so certainly great work for him. And as you pointed out, no matter how good they do in this, they have to do it all over again. Kevin Rottin's certainly going to be one of those drivers looking for a better start, going to be avoiding damage. Cedar Vire, of course, we saw him going sideways across in front of him along with Peo Pev. I think it was very Stanley, wasn't it, going sideways? And then obviously he also took some damage early on in that race, despite a great start. We saw it from his position. So these drivers, of course, with Dennis Jordan starting out in first, think of how well Siebel and Jordan did gaining those positions, going into fourth and fifth and sixth position. Definitely starting out in first. It's going to be very hard to pass him. I just don't see really too many chances to get past him. Obviously, Shinchik's going to be in there, in and around there. And if you remember, towards the end of that sprint race, Shinchik was under pressure. He got taken by Jordan. It was only a matter of time, it seemed, that he was about to get picked apart. But Nuno Pinto, as you say, I feel like this is going to be a tough one for him at the start in that Porsche. What a fantastic job, by the way, if we're seeing how the Porsche delivered. What a fantastic job to get into the top 10 in the first place in qualifying. But he's going to be starting on a second, and he's going to be under pressure from Shinchik immediately.
Yeah, he definitely is. I'm just looking at the results of the season so far. Jordan had a third place finish at the Sebring feature race and a second place at the Loch Drummond feature race, and we saw like the performance in general that the Red Bull guys were doing at that previous track. And he's one better already at the start. See if he can pull away. And with Pinto's Porsche, or just the Porsches in general, being slightly slower than some of the others, the absolute mugging that we're anticipating that Porsche getting, hopefully he holds on, then it might hold up all of those behind him enough for Jordan to gap them enough to sort of hold on for a bit and make it harder for people like Shinchik, Siebel, Khan, Rocek, Simičić to catch up to him later on.
So if you just joined us, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are about to go into the main race. We've had the sprint race already. That was won by Risto Capit with Jakub Brzezinski in second place behind him. And the two Burst Esports drivers in third and fourth of Dan Rocek and Jurni Simičić in the Ferrari. Now, with the reverse grid for the top 10, Dennis Jordan will be leading the proceedings as we approach the line here, and Nuno Pinto will have to be hard on the gas as they approach the line. Everybody gets wide. That's Simičić, I think, going wide there already. Nuno Pinto already under pressure. Simičić looks like he's already got himself past there as they get around the side. I'm looking for any turners, spinners. Looks like it's pretty clean through the first corner as they approach Eau Rouge.
Yeah, Pinto's already been had by Shinchik. Maybe not. No, Shinchik has backed out of it into Eau Rouge, playing it safe. He'll get the speed advantage up the Camel Straight, or just cut the corner completely. And then we've got Ibrahim Khan on board, and that's one of the Porsches gone round at the back, and another Porsche in the wall, and another Porsche spinning round. It's not good to be in a Porsche at the minute. We'll probably get a replay of that momentarily, but we go back on board with Ibrahim Khan up to Les Combes. That's the Porsche. Nuno Pinto still holding on to second place as he's being absolutely attacked by... Oh, he's in the lead. How's Pinto managed to do that? Jordan's now in second.
He's picked his pocket. He's away. He's away. We were talking about him having to be defensive. Well, we didn't know how Nuno Pinto had that car set up. It seems that he's found some pace in the Porsche, and he's absolutely on. I'm pretty sure that was the Williams Porsche and the Butler Powell Porsche I saw flying off. They looked like two of them all going left and right as they came up through Radillon. But yeah, everybody's trying to take that little groove Dennis Jordan is. But look at that, a half-second lead already. Nuno Pinto's gone.
Yeah, Jordan doing that straddling tactic, but it doesn't seem to have actually gained him any time over Pinto coming through Pouon as they head up to Fagnes here for the first time. And see, Pev's still in the race, so that's one of the Butler Powell cars there. I think one of them was actually John Lazy Esports cars, but the John Lazy and Williams Esports Porsches look very similar from a distance. Yellow in Sector 2 will get a see what that was. Here's a replay of Pinto slipstreaming the Red Bull, and then goes around the outside of Les Combes to take the lead, a shock lead, it has to be said, of this feature race.
I just wonder, maybe...
Ortiz Veers here.
Oh, that's Pev ahead of him.
He hit Pev. Smashes and then got clobbered by Michi Hoyer.
Yeah, Michi Hoyer caught him as well, and he goes spinning out. But yeah, going back to the Porsche, I just wonder, right? Obviously, we were talking about it in the sprint race. I wonder maybe outside of qualification position, maybe he carries heavy fuel loads well. That maybe could be what it is. And Wisniewski, I think he just lost it back
on his own, yeah. Oh, a little bit of a hit on the wall that shouldn't do too much damage to his suspension. But still, Pinto finishes the first lap in the lead, but that Red Bull is very, very close.
Yeah, definitely back under pressure. There's no doubt about it. We'll see how he can carry it on through. Certainly going to be defensive in Les Hauts and up through Eau Rouge, Radillon. You can see Dennis Jordan's going to try and stay as close as he can as they get in the Camel. This is where he got his pocket picked, but he's gone very early. Actually, before the Camel, he's just going to get it done before we even get close there. Absolutely does him before he even reaches Les Combes.
Yeah, he was pulling away ever so slightly as well, so that Corvette's definitely got the straight line speed over the Porsche. I think when Pinto was in behind the Corvette, that was helping pulling him along. Here's Ibrahim Khan going around the outside of Alex Siebel doing a cap-it at Malmedy, and then that's Davin Rocek having a sniff at Siebel as well.
Yeah, Brzezinski's got himself further up into 8th place there, so he's made work at the moment, got himself past Risto Capit, so a little bit of sweet revenge perhaps from the first race, but that rocket driver certainly got himself ahead. Let's have a look at the sweeping through. We're going to see the cars, certainly the Porsches are going to be going sideways as they sweep on through Eau Rouge. It is a beautiful corner, no doubt about it. Or a set of corners, I guess you should say, Eau Rouge, right along. But Yuri Sibicic, he's got a bit of work to do here in the Ferrari. He's got his teammate just ahead of him. He's got Jakub Brzezinski up behind now, who's starting to hunt him down. He's just seen the rocket driver of Ibrahim Khan passing Alex Siebel and thinking, come on, buddy. Come on, Rocek, you can do the same.
Well, Simic doesn't need to do anything too leery in this race. He's in 7th. Toman is in 13th. So he's got that 6 or 7 positions on Toman already. But if he can gain any through the pit stops, then that will be an extra bonus for the Burst Esports drivers. Jordan leads the field. Pinto closing up on the brakes ever so slightly there. And a bit of a slide again from Jordan. But look towards that Aston Martin and Marcel Chinchik there in 3rd. Because that is going to get close ever so soon, I should say. That doesn't make any sense. But if Pinto can stay in the slipstream of Dennis Jordan, then he might be able to keep up with him.
Yellow's in sector 3, so somebody has had an off further down the field there. They did flag off pretty quickly though. But going back to your point, I do feel they're going to want to get past Siebel, because Siebel obviously is very close in terms of championship points overall. Got himself a 5th place in the previous race, currently running in 5th once again. And only, I think, before we even hit at Spa, he was only, 8 points behind Yuri Sibicic? No, make that 7 points behind Yuri Sibicic. Obviously, Sibicic's doing very well in the first race, but only a 4th and 5th. So Siebel's certainly keeping him in check, and they're going to be leading that championship coming through. So a lot of work still to do here as we just go under the 40-minute mark. At the moment, though, Dennis Jordan in the lead. He's been there before. Let's see if he can hold that position. Ibrahim Khan's certainly going to be, he's looking to improve his time. You know, we're talking about how he's been carrying weight, and he is carrying weight. He's chasing down Marcel Chinchik, who did lose quite a few places towards the end of that sprint race. So got to check his concentration as we go further into this race.
Yeah, we've got Shah and Wisniewski in the pit lane repairing damage from that lap 1 incident at Eau Rouge and Radion. Jordan leading, just pulling away a little bit. He's got 7/10 over Pinto now, but Pinto's going to have his mirrors filled with that Aston Martin and Marcel Chinchik, and then Ibrahim Khan won't be too far behind as the Red Bull will start to pull away up towards Blanchimont here.
Let's have a look at the replay. This was Kevin Rotting. Oh no, he's not going to be involved again, is he? He got done. Okay, he's just going to be his point of view. We're going to see the Porsches going off left and right here. So there goes the Butler Pal. There goes the other Porsche, and he manages to avoid action and actually gain quite a few places. Is he going to get past Michi Hoyer as well? It looked like he may well have done.
I was trying to see. I've got rFactor 2 up on my other screen. Kevin Rotting did not get past Michi Hoyer.
Not yet, at least. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Maybe got Ray taken. But somebody that is back under pressure is Alex Siebel, chasing Ibrahim Khan after having his pocket picked. He wants to get back involved. This is Kevin Rotting. You can see he's actually quite a few places down, actually. He's got Luis Felipe Capamagian ahead of him, and Peter Briliak as well, it seems, ahead of Michi Hoyer. So he's actually lost quite a few places in there. So it seems he's gone backwards a little. That or Michi Hoyer maybe has overtaken. Let's be kind and say Michi Hoyer. Someone went very wide there. Just got a glimpse of someone rejoining.
I think that was it was either Shara or Wisniewski coming out in the pit lane as we see Rocek and Khan going side by side through Lakon. Khan holds on to the position for now.
And that was all down to Khan having a look at Siebel. He was looking to try and get involved. Back to Kevin Siggy. He's down in 15th. Oh, he's not going to be happy, is he? Started out in 8th place on the grid, and he is having his pocket picked, and you can see that it is Michi Hoyer that's just got past him just a moment ago, because he was just ahead of Briliak just a moment ago. So Kevin Siggy losing places. That BMW really struggling here at Spa.
Yeah, all the BMWs in general seem to be struggling. You got Eunice Ravio ahead that was doing the straddle tactic up towards Puon. Blue flags being shown for the lap traffic that was coming out the pit lane that we just saw a moment ago. Cars just filtering round up through to Fania here. The battle for 10th. They've got Stolzer at the head of this pack. Then Kasdorp, Toman, Ravio, Hoyer, and Siggy that we're seeing go through Stavlo right now. We'll see if there's any difference in the straight line speed between that Ferrari of Michi Hoyer and the BMW of Kevin Siggy here.
Absolutely. Fantastic stuff so far, but Kevin Siggy, it's a race to forget, I feel, for him. Starting out in 3rd in the first sprint race, went down to 11th. Started out in 8th here, and it's looking like he's going to be going down to 16th in a moment. Peter Briliak all over him, trying to get something going. This is Jakub Brzezinski, started out in 10th position. He's on the back of Darren Rocek. What's happened there? He's got past Yuri Simičić. So Simicic's losing places, down to 8th now. And looking to improve even further, that Ferrari. And Peter Brzezinski, Jakub Brzezinski, sorry, doing fantastically well in the first race. 2nd place for him after a great qualifying session. What is going on further down the field, though? Is that a backmarker Porsche in the way? Yes, it is, and that's going to get all sorts of problems down the Kemmel. Ibrahim Khan gets picked his pocket. That's going to be the Rocek going through, but look at that. Jakub Brzezinski squeezes on through, and now Simicic is trying to do the same. I don't think he's going to be able to make it stick around the outside, and then he's going to be on the inside. No, can't quite do it. Nearly clipped the back end, but now he's in trouble as he gets caught out as well. And Risto Capit looking to try and squeeze around the outside, just like he did before, taking that first place in the sprint race. Can't quite make it stick this time around.
Kasper Stolz has joined in with this as well in 10th position. And look at the train that is forming behind Ibrahim Khan right now.
Yeah, this is not what he wants, that's for sure. Ibrahim Khan, he was all smooth sailing a moment ago, 5th place, but just one backmarker getting involved. And, well, I mean, I think he was under pressure before the backmarker got there, in fairness, so we shouldn't be completely too hard on him. Blue flags waving, as you can see there, so definitely starting to get very interesting at the front here. Currently, Dennis Jordan still out in the lead. Nuno Pinto holding on very well in that Porsche in 2nd place, with Chinchik up in 3rd behind him, but it is Ibrahim Khan that's all under pressure, and as you say, that train is beginning to form.
Yeah, I'm going to have to eat my words about saying that the Porsche was going to get absolutely mullered over the first couple of laps. Nuno Pinto staying with just over half a second from Dennis Jordan as Andonovski. This might be how he retired. I noticed he had DNF next to his name. Did he get forced off the track? Did he get slammed into a wall at some point? He's been tipped sort of half round. Does he get whacked again? And he's just pulled over and abandoned the...
It's Wisniewski, isn't it? Yeah, I could say, yeah. I could see the Williams Porsche behind him. I don't think he touched him, did he?
He gave him a little bit of a touch, and then he dived into the pit lane.
He's just like, you know what, I'm going in the pits. I meant that. I meant to go in there. So once again, we see Yuri Simičić trying to put the pressure onto Ibrahim Khan this time, and trying to force him a little bit wide. Probably going to be a little bit aggrieved the fact that he had his pocket picked by Jakub Brzezinski, and then proceeded to see him pass by. This time it looks like he's going to try and get it done as they go through Radion and down the Kemmel Straight.
That's easy as you like for Simičić. Oh, hello. Where did you come from? So Risto Capit also has a crack at the Scotsman into Lacon, but doesn't quite pull it off. So Ibrahim Khan doesn't lose 2 positions in about sort of half a mile or so. So he holds on, but he's slipping back. He's now down into 8th. Capit sniffing all over the back of the Aston Martin. On board here with Kevin Rotting down in 18th. He's managed to survive longer in this race than he did in the first one. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time in the first race. But still 18th, half a second in behind Louis-Philippe Capamajan, who is struggling a bit in that BMW. And the BMW is, like we said, just struggling in general.
I think some of the other Porsche drivers would love to know how Nuno Pinto has this set up, because he is doing a fantastic job holding on to that 2nd place. All the other Porsches really struggling down the back end of the grid, but he has been holding on well. Held 1st place for just a lap or 2 until Dennis Jordan retook that position, but hasn't really been under pressure from Masa Chinchik behind him. He was happy to hold station, in fairness, and Alex Siebel doesn't look like to be improving too much either, as they are pretty much pulling away. Obviously, that battle further down the field. Darren Rocek now, he's past it. Will be on the hunt to try and catch up, but they have lost a lot of ground as they were caught behind Ibrahim Khan, who's now slipped down to 8th position. And as you can see, those Corvettes very much predominant throughout the top 10.
You notice as well how DJ up the front is pulling away ever so slightly from Nuno Pinto, so looks like the tyres are now in that phase where they're past the sell-by date, and the more that Nuno pushes, the less in terms of returns he's going to get. As that's Wisniewski's picked up a penalty for track limits. That'll be, or it may even be for, or it won't be for the pit lane because he's not been back in the pit lane since. So that'll be a track limits thing. As oh hello, the stream's died on my computer here. There we go, back on with the. So apologies if you saw that. Nick Wisniewski there in 24th position. He'll have to come through the pit lane for a drive-through. He's actually a lap behind the leaders, but if he finishes the race, he'll pick up the participation points and the points for 24th position. So every little helps,
and the money,
as they say, and some money as well,
and the money.
So yeah, he's just carrying on. Just might as well finish the race and pick up whatever points he can. I mean, where is Wisniewski?
Look at Dennis Jordan. He's pulled over a second. Since you mentioned that, he was at 0.7, and now he's 1.9. So Jordan has either just thrown in a cracking lap, or Pinto is falling back. But I don't think it's just Pinto. Well, I say that. Chinchik is pretty much close to him now, isn't he? I think it is. I think Pinto's starting to fall away. And that's a problem, but it's great for Dennis Jordan because he's going to be holding them up, and Dennis Jordan can buy himself all the space he needs with, don't forget, the pit windows will be open as well shortly. They'll be looking to try and get in there. We've already seen a couple diving in to try and get repairs in, but Chinchik now pretty much sniffing down the back end of that Porsche.
Yeah, half an hour remaining. It's just popped up on the top of the screen there next to the timing tower. You'd expect Chinchik to make a move either into the bus stop if he can get the slipstream, or maybe down into Lake Com. But Pinto's tyres probably not holding on as much as they were at the start of the race. Like you say, he's lost probably about 1.5 seconds over the last lap to Dennis Jordan's Red Bull, and then it's probably only a matter of time before drivers start picking him off.
Yeah, and you can see just Chinchik really getting close. That's a nudge. That's a little nudge.
That's another nudge.
Just to make sure he goes through the chicane as quick as he can, I think is what you're saying there. But it's going to have to be allowed to rejoin the circuit. But Alex Siebel is behind, looking to try and pick up anything he can here as they go down the source. Hard on the brakes and then flat out as quick as they can and see whether that Porsche can hold on. I feel it's going to lose out as they hit the straight.
Yeah, the Porsche seem to get a better exit of Eau Rouge. So not Eau Rouge, La Source. Maybe that's just the Concertina effect in action, but here we go. A little bit of a lift from Nuno Pinto through Eau Rouge and Radion, and here comes the Aston Martin. And it'll be see you later, Mr. Pinto.
Yeah, nothing he can really do about that one. I think he's more happy that he didn't lose too many places. Slots in behind to keep that drag. Just has a little defensive peek there just to see if Chinchik's still awake. Through he goes. So Nuno Pinto down to second place. But look at this. Look at everybody else bunching up behind them now. Siebel's there. Jakub Brzezinski. And don't forget, Darren Rocek also looking to try and make a move. The train has started to form between Nuno Pinto.
That is quite the train behind. So that'll be Siebel, Brzezinski, Mocek, Capet, Simončić will be joining in on that a little bit later on. And then some more cars just coming through, no name in the back. Looks like some of these cars have stopped straddling the green tarmac as well. I don't think it's actually working as much as they were expecting it to. But look at that. Chinchik has pulled probably about half a second already on Pinto. So Siebel is next in line.
Let's see whether it sort of backlogs, and obviously everybody was starting to gain that pace. Maybe try and get back involved. You guys can get involved. Don't forget, get some tweets out there as well if you really want to. Don't forget to follow the socials on the drivers. I cannot count the amount of times I've had events that's had sim racing involved, and I've been asked, is there any sim racers that have got a big following? And it's just like, they don't don't need following their great drivers, but do get out there. Do follow the drivers. If you've got a favourite driver, a favourite team, get out there. Give them the social love that they deserve. It will help them out. Trust me, somebody that needs help right now is Nuno Pinto. He is under attack from all sides. Jakob Brzezinski, I just saw going into the pits. So taking that moment to go in the pits, I'm not too sure whether he wanted to or not, but he certainly went in the pits. The window open, and here we go.
Yeah, cap it in as well. You just saw him at the back, a shot there. So we'll see if they take tyres as well. I'm assuming they probably will, just to keep them fresh. Yep, there we go. Car up on the front jacks. It will go up on the rear jacks in a second. Taking fuel as they need to get to the end. Taking tyres, might as well get some fresh rubber on. But Risto Capit here doesn't have his pit box in. It's the endurance pit lane, so he'll be stopping a little bit further down the hill here.
Oh, goodness. I was going to say, it was like, did he even stop yet? But yeah, he's got to, I forgot he's got to go all the way down. All the way down.
There we go.
So we'll get there and eventually, hello, Rocek and Siebel both going past. And Rocek a little bit of bump drafting again there. So Nuno Pinto losing more positions once again. And
that's a Larry exit he's going to have.
And he's on his back jacks as well.
Yeah, yeah, don't do what you did at Monza, Risto, where you drifted out and took your rear wing off.
Yeah, if you guys are unaware, they can actually collision in the pits. There was collision damage. He lost his rear wing, didn't he? Last time got Larry and lost the rear wing, and that was that. But yeah, wow. Okay, so Siebel passed. Rocek passed. Now, further down the lane is Simic. Simic is a little further adrift than this one. Seems to be coasting, maybe trying to keep his tyres and his fuel as much. And I do wonder, because obviously we're talking about some going for the tyres. I wonder if some are going to maybe try not go for tyres and save that time by just taking it a bit more cautious.
Well, the GTE tyres do last quite a while compared to how they do in Formula Pro and Formula Challenge, but I think it's probably just better for them overall pace-wise to take the rubber while they're taking it concurrently with the fuel, so that they maximise their pace. Because at the high-load corners like Pouhon, like Eau Rouge and Radion, and when you got the heavy braking zone up to the bus stop chicane as well, you need all the grip you can possibly get. So I think it's just probably better for them to take the tyres and maximise the grip and pace for the actual race.
So Siebel, a little puff of smoke there, a little hard on the brakes, trying to slow that car down under the pressure from Rocek. And here comes Simicic into the pit. Ooh, that was so close to the pit wall there. Little bit close. Don't want to do a Hamilton. We've been there, done that. Don't see that again. Also followed in, as you can see, Stoltz coming in behind him. Yuri Toman as well. Yuri Toman, we haven't talked about Yuri Toman much, have we? Currently in 8th at the moment as he goes into the pits. Obviously, a couple of places gained on those pit stops. And now everybody's starting to fly in.
Now on board with Rocek up through Eau Rouge, a little bit of a lift. Hammer that curb at the top of Radion, just not close enough to the back of Alex Siebel to make a move.
Look
but
at
he's still closing in. It's just not going to be enough. As Siebel goes defensive just in case. Well, maybe Rocek did have enough.
Oh,
he's through. Have some of that.
Clean through. Hasn't done himself in brakes or anything either. Absolutely sliced through. And it just shows how much that toe can really give you as you go down there. Now, of course, Nuno Pinto is going to be watching this all happening, continuing, but that is great for Darren Rocek. Alex Siebel, as we were talking about, he's going to be challenging for the championship. But Rocek, what a great performance it's going to be for him. He was down in, 22nd, wasn't he, before the start of this race, after having a 4th place finish already, a 3rd place finish, actually, wasn't it? 3rd place finish, and, just a little bit of slide there. 3rd place finish, and now, 3rd again, back on the podium positions. Yes, they haven't had a pit stop yet, but certainly doing some great work.
Yeah, Rocek hadn't been on the podium at all until the sprint race, so he's definitely bagging a lot of good points at this race. It might be his best race. Well, it definitely is his best race. As there's Jone Simic, he could probably get a Rizzler in between the car and the wall there, really pushing the limits of what's possible. The 3-time FSR champion knows what he's doing. He's adapted quite well to virtually every car that he's ever driven in rFactor 2, and seems to be quick in every single one of them, annoyingly.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic driver, no doubt about it. Current leader, Dennis Jordan, still out, hasn't pitted, nor has Sinchik, who is coming in right now, also very tight to the wall as he comes into the pits. So Rocek will go through into 2nd place. We'll see The big part is whether the undercut or the overcut's going to work out best. Siebel does choose to come in, as does Pinto. So Rocek staying out along with Dennis Jordan, trying to go longer with the fuel.
Yeah, looking back towards the pit lane up Eau Rouge and Radion, you don't really realise how steep that hill is until you're actually down there looking at it and seeing pictures of it as well. It must be an absolute joy to go through at about 160, 170 miles an hour every single time in a high downforce car. But Jordan and Red Bull, they just seem to be able to extend the fuel tank super deep into the race and then pull off something towards the end like they did at the other tracks like Monza and Sebring and Loch Drummond as well. So they definitely know what they're doing over there at Red Bull.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how it shakes out, of course, because Jakub Brzezinski was carving his way through the field to see whether he's going to come past. Yes, he is. He's going through Eau Rouge and Radion. There he goes. That's Brzezinski going past on your screen there. So he will go through, as were Chinchik and Capit, it seems. Simičić also through. Simičić ahead of Siebel. It has worked for him going in the pits there. He went in a lap before, I believe, and actually Risto Capit through on Alex Siebel as well there. So Siebel losing quite a lot of time in the pits. Risto Capit also out ahead of Simičić as well, so it's absolutely worked out for Risto Capit. What a move. Very interesting to see. So that's the drivers that came in early, making it work.
This is on board with Kazdorp. Car coming out of the pit lane. Another car coming out of the pit lane. And he'll have the momentum coming
Siebel,
up.
Isn't it? Yeah,
Siebel. He'll have the momentum straight on by because of the speed he's already picked up coming down the hill.
And I think that was Ibrahim Khan. Yeah, it was just behind as well. So down in 13th at the moment. So obviously quite a few of them stopped. It seems that the early stop at the moment has paid off. So we'll see how that continues. Keep your eye on Jakub Brzezinski because he is going to be the one that pitted very early. Dennis Jordan in the pits, the current leader. Still Rocek goes on, does not stop. Interesting. Grotting also carrying on as well as Perfu is in the Porsche as well as Schunflit in there as well in 6th place. So Brzezinski at the moment, possible provisional leader. We'll see where it comes out with Dennis Jordan. Dennis Jordan had himself a reasonable lead. I think about 2.5 second gap over everybody else. I think it was a 4 second gap over Rocek actually. But Dennis Jordan now coming out of the pits. That is Yuri Simičić on your screens in the Ferrari as they all come down. And you can just see how horrible it is to go along that pitch. You see them all coming. You can probably hear them starting to rattle along. It's like, am I going to get out in time? As they go around the source and away we go. And it is going to be flat out. This is, I think, Jakub Brzezinski's position on the car. Dennis Jordan's going to be going up. You can see him. There he is going up the hillside and he will retain the lead. No! He's going to lose out. And that is going to be the lead gone. And that's Jakub Brzezinski who came in 3-4 laps before, taking a massive chunk out of Dennis Jordan, who was at least 10 seconds ahead of Brzezinski.
You get so much of a good run coming out of the like down the hill out of Eau Rouge and Radion. It's almost like a crawl coming out of the pit lane, even though you're on the fastest part of the track near enough. So Jakub Brzezinski to get that 1.5 second lead from 10 seconds further back, as Rocek, Rotting and Schönfleet are the only 3 not yet to pit. So that's why Rotting has somehow amazingly got himself up to 2nd and then Schönfleet up into 3rd. So once they've pitted and cycled... Oh, Simičić also hasn't pitted, so they're... unless... Simičić actually pitted, or has that just not triggered the thing properly? I've been looking at other things.
He's definitely pitted.
He's definitely
100% pitted.
Right, so yeah, so Rocek, Rotting and Schönfleet are the only 3 not to have pitted, so they'll all drop.
So we were talking about the time. Now, at the moment, as you can see, it's a 40-second difference. That's how long that pit stop is. It's enormous. It's such a huge long pit stop. Rocek in the pits. Let's see how that works out. Dennis Jordan losing out, of course. Whether Rocek's been able to find some time in there, who knows? But going to be going for the fuel and the tyres, we presume. Kevin Rotting also coming in, as was Anna Schuflit. So they're all in now, as just Brzezinski now, as he gets close. You can see that time ticking down as they go through the bus stop. and onto the straight. He has to go round the saws, then up through Eau Rouge and Radion. And that is the point that they will join each other. You can see Rocek still stagnant, still just getting down off the jacks. And now he's able to get moving. He's done. He's going to be way down, I feel.
Yeah, Scoflick dropping down the tower there. You can see Rocek and Rotting will probably end up doing the same. That'll bump Khan and those up another 2 or 3 positions. Khan now up into 9th as he goes past. There is Rocek coming out 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th as well. He might just get out in front, but Ibrahim Khan is going to have the momentum, as we said before. And through he goes.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to take a pit stop in a 45-minute GT Pro race, do it early because it pays off. Bearing in mind, Rocek was ahead of his teammate Yoni Simicic. He'd also taken over a few others, got past Chinchik as well, if you remember. So this has really worked out very well for anyone that stopped early. Dennis Jordan, I think, hanging on by the fact that he had such a good lead and the battle was going on behind him, but that has shaken all the order up right now. So Jakub Brzezinski now the race leader. As you see Nuno Pinto, that is a battle behind. That's Yuri Toman trying to get past Yunus Ravio. He's got Kasper Stoltz alongside him as well. And the Jean Lacey. Now Yuri Toman obviously coming into Spa was the championship leader. Still really struggling here.
Ravio had actually got past Pinto, but then Pinto somehow got past Ravio again. So maybe there was a mistake, or just there was some battling, or just a generic overtake. We'll probably get a replay of that from Ruben if we can. But he's Pinto started to 2nd on the grid. He's now down into 10th. Ravio in 11th. So Ravio's managed to make some inroads into that through the pit stops. This is Yuri Toman. Ravio ahead on Nuno Pinto. Did Pinto just take it back on the inside of Lecom and then round the outside of Malmedy Capit style? No. Did he go down the inside of Bruxelles? Probably down the inside of Bruxelles, Rivage. That's the thing with Spa. All the corners have got about 4 different names. So just a bit of touring car action here in the minute. And then just squeezes back on in front of the BMW.
Great racing. Great racing. Love to see it. And you can see, actually, that's where it looks like Toman looked to pick the pocket. He did, yeah. Oh, they tried to go 3 wide. Nice. Some fantastic racing. Stoltz just couldn't hold it. Yeah, he's not going to be able to hold it around there. It's just too squirrely.
I think he was counting on the Aston Martin getting right out of the way by showing his nose like that. But nope, held on. Rissa Cabot up there in 4th position. So great evening so far for R8G Esports. But Yoni Simicic is in behind. And that Ferrari is probably going to get him very, very close in the next 14 and a half minutes.
So, looking back, you can see immediately this is back to Kasper Stoltz and Yuri Toman, this time getting past Yunus Ravio. Stoltz tries to go up the inside. I think he just connected. Oh, that was very close. And they're going to be even closer to going into the corner. And yeah, they're both gone. I think that's Siggy that just rattled through. Yes, it was. Kevin Siggy went straight through. And I think, I've got to be honest,
almost went through the car.
you could tell the moment they were in there. That's Luis Felipe Capomargin as well, getting close. But back to Alex Siebel here. Yuri Simicic just ahead of him. Siebel has been closing in on Simicic here. Now, this is a championship battle. Simicic and Siebel very close, just 7 points apart coming into this race. Obviously, both done very well. Got themselves a 4th and 5th position in the sprint race, and currently sitting in 5th and 6th here in the main race. They are going to be championship leaders going into Indianapolis.
Yeah, they'll definitely be 1 and 2. Going into the final race of the season. Yoni Simicic probably championship favourite at the minute. Been super consistent all season. Just trying to see. Yeah, that should be fine. Ibrahim Khan in 4th. Marcel Chinchik in 5th. So that might move around a bit. We'll get all the standings at the end of the race, and we'll be able to see what it's like going into the final race of the season. But Simicic and Siebel having a send into the chicane. Can Simicic hold on? No, that move's done. Siebel goes off in pursuit of Risto Capit now.
That was a great move. Great clean move. Let's have a look at the replay. This is going to be Kasper Stoltz. And this is going to go all the way down the Kemmel. And see what happens here. Stoltz, he's getting a bit wiggly, isn't he? That's Yuri Toman just ahead of him. Here's Kevin Siggy. So he's seeing him 3 wide. He's thinking, there's going to be action here. 1, 2, dodge, left, right. Beautiful. Straight through. I'll take those 2 positions.
Yeah, it looked a lot closer on that other angle that we saw. If that is Kasper Stoltz going at the inside of Ravio. Just goes across the nose and then hits the Aston Martin and goes for a spin.
Oh, back at it, and Simic's having a little bite back at Alex Siebel here, seeing if the drag can work, but doesn't seem to have it as they come out. Oh, side by side, the race leader, Jakub Brzezinski and Dennis Jordan. I saw Dennis Jordan was closing in, battling it out. Jakub Brzezinski, of course, lost the lead to a RAG Esports driver in the first race. Get caught out on the outside. Not going to allow Dennis Jordan to do the same thing this time around. Not having any of that.
Yuri Toman's got a penalty. The current championship leader, the championship leader going into this event now has a penalty. That's going to drop him right back and really mess around with the championship standings. So he might drop down a little bit further than we were anticipating.
Yeah, currently Sebring was his deducted race, and that was an 83.92 point race. So this is Jakub Brzezinski under pressure from Dennis Jordan. Dennis Jordan getting side by side, and as I said, Brzezinski lost out around the outside last time out to was it Risto Capit? It was Risto Capit, wasn't it? Got it done. Yeah. Was it Yuri Kastor? It was Risto, wasn't it? Yeah. Got it done, but this time Brzezinski not having any of it. It's like, I'm keeping it there this time.
Looking back from the Pole's rear wing at the German in hot pursuit. Not close enough to make a move into the chicane this time. Maybe into Eau Rouge, but Marcel Chinchik there in the background might want to get involved in this if they carry on battling.
What a race, though, from Jakub Brzezinski from 10th place on the reverse grid up into first after some skullduggery going on in the pit stops. He knew somehow that it was going to work out for him, went for that pit stop early. He was involved in a close battle with Yuri Simicic at the time, who we can see went for an extra lap. He's down in 6th place at the moment. This is the replay of Yuri Simicic getting past Alex Siebel somewhat very easily this time around.
Yes, looked like he let him go on that one. Jakub Brzezinski is actually 14th overall in the standings. Well, at least he was coming into this event. But here comes Dennis Jordan again up to Laycom. Is he ahead going in? The nose is just ahead. Brzezinski will have the inside for the right-hander. Dennis Jordan will have the inside for the next corner. And that move is done by the time they get to Malmedy. So Dennis Jordan retakes the lead. But how brief or how long will he be there?
Gets it done. Gets it done very well. So nicely worked out, Dennis Jordan. It's past Brzezinski. Obviously, Siebel's also retaken Rocek, and it must have been Rocek that was getting past Siebel, not Simicic, because he's gone a second or so back. So somewhere in between that replay and what we're seeing now, there has been something happen. But Dennis Jordan, what a great move from him, and now Alex Siebel looking to try and get further forward. And yes, chat, I am well aware, Erhan, that Yuri is in Red Bull. Used to be, obviously, at Roman Grosjean, which is what I was confused about.
And there's the move by DJ into Laycom. Around the outside of the right, has the inside for the left. And that move is complete by the time they get to the next right. So always good to get a move done and to hold on to it. Great driving from both of them. All the room given, but still maintaining the very close racing.
So, back to Risto Capit. He's worked his way up from 9th, up into 4th position. Siebel, though, putting a bit of pressure on him. Getting closer. The Burst Esports driver's also down there. Risto Capit, as I say, down in 8th. Nuno Pinto, he's hanging on. He's hanging on. He's still in the top 10, down in 9th at the moment. Doing what he can. Let's have a look at the replays. This is what's happened here. So here's Rocek and Simicic. So Rocek passes Simicic. So that's where, well, very much given to him.
Yeah. But talking about Pinto, he's actually just stuck one on Khan into the bus stop. So that Porsche holding on for dear life at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it at the start. We were very impressed that the Porsche was hanging on, but it does seem like it's a matter of time. By the way, Kevin Sicky's still hanging on to 12th as well. So obviously he lost a lot of places in the first sprint race. That is going to get done, I feel, before the corner's even there. I don't think much Nuno could do about that.
Yeah, we bring Khan back up to 9th position. So I think they're going to be trading places until the end of the race. Just 7.5 minutes remaining in this 45-minute feature race. It'd be interesting to see what the championship looks like at the end with Yuri Toman absolutely having a mare out there, but this will probably become his new drop score for the season.
I mean, Jakub Brzezinski he's probably going to be a bit miffed that Dennis Jordan did pick his pocket, and he tried 2 laps in a row to do it, but I don't think he's going to be too upset the fact that he's gone from 10th place reverse grid up into 2nd place after a fantastic pit stop. It's made it work, and I think 2nd place is pretty much a shoe-in for him now. I'm not seeing Shinchik making too much of an effort to get any higher up there. He's still very much keeping position to keep that podium alive, but it has been a fantastic race so far, no doubt about it. It's a lot of action, a lot of overtakes. Spa always delivers, doesn't it? There's no doubt about it, but Kasper Stoltz with a bit of work to do still, down in 19th. As we were talking about, the money does fall all the way down the field from 1st all the way down to 30th position. There is only 27 racing today, but the championship, oh my word, I want to talk about that while there's a brief respite. It is going to be feisty going into Indianapolis. We're seeing now Dennis Jordan going to get his name in the hat. Obviously, we've got Yuni Simicic having a great performance. Yuri Toman slipping out a little bit here. Alex Siebel's going to be in and around there. If we were looking at championship leaders coming into the start of the day, Chinchik, he's had 2 great drives. This is going to be very, very tight going into Indianapolis.
I think it's going to be the best ending to a season that we've ever had in GT Pro. Last season was pretty good. I think this season's going to be even better. But like I say, we'll get the live standings right at the end as we see Risto Caput here. Probably going to fall victim to Alex Siebel into Lacombe. Red Bull Corvette C8R just sending it to the inside. And this should be an easy outbreaking move into Lacombe, and that'll be a position taken. Can Siebel then get it onto the podium? Marcel Chinchik is just 0.3 of a second up the road.
Yep, beautifully done, and we've seen it many times. A lot of great driving today. That toe is massive. There's a meow. There's a cat getting involved behind me. I don't know what he wants. Maybe he wants a bit of driving. 5 minutes to go here at Spa. Dennis Jordan in the lead, but you can see the positions gained. 8 places for Jakub Brzezinski. Risto Caput up 4. Yuri Kastorp up 5 as well. And then further down the field, you've got Yunus Ravio gaining 4 places up into 12th at the moment. Some great driving overall as Dan Rocek puts a bit of pressure onto Risto Caput. He's just seen the Red Bull driver doing it for Alex Siebel. He wants to do it himself.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the other screen where it's got like the live timing and stuff. Nuno Pinto's actually got past Khan again, and he's starting to pull away as we look now at David Rocek's bonnet chasing down the other Corvette of Risto Caput, who's had a great evening so far. He'll be very happy with the 2 top 10 positions on offer at the minute, which is better than a lot of the other races he's had. Like I say, he's been in good positions to start the races, but always ended up either being wiped out or being the victim of some sort of accident, whether it's his own or somebody else he's been caught up in. But here comes David Rocek, maybe outbreaking the RHG car into the chicane. Yes, he does. Ooh, a little bit too deep from the Burst Esports car, and Risto Caput holds on to that position for a little bit longer.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lock up there. Went a little bit too hot on it. Viewers won't be thanking him, but it's now or never, really, isn't it? With just over 3 minutes to go. As Risto Caput gets a little squirrely there through the source, but holds on fine. Dennis Jordan got himself a second lead over Jakub Brzezinski. They hug the wall as tight as they dare as they go up to Orange and Radion. And once again, we're going to see Rocek getting very close as they go down the Kemmel. We know the drag is huge. Does he go left? Does he go right? Is the outside he's going to veer for? Is he going to get it done through as well? The corner? Yeah, Siebel also getting it done just ahead past Chinchik. That's great work from him. Has he gone in a little too hot? No, he's going to hold on. And Yuri Kastorp also getting past Simicic there as well. So great work. 3 overtakes in 1 corner. Love it.
Yeah, the Red Bull guys have managed to work together to send Simicic back as far as they possibly can. This is really going to help out Siebel and definitely going to help out Dennis Jordan as well in the championship. So I think going into the final race, we'll have Simicic, Siebel, Chinchik, and all in, maybe Jordan as well, all in close proximity of each other.
Yeah, I think so. Here's Siebel getting it done on Marcel Cinchik, who honestly has had a pretty quiet time in third place. Probably going to be pretty miffed that he's just lost that with 3 minutes to go, with just a couple of laps remaining. Rocek hooked through Radion. You can see, I mean, we've seen this time and time and time again throughout the evening at Spa. We know just how big the toe can be down the Kemmel. It gives them such a huge advantage. You can see flatting out 274 there, kilometers. Meanwhile, Kastorp getting it done. You can see actually he's under pressure. Tell a lie. It was Simičić trying to put the pressure onto Kastorp, but Kastorp, I think, just gets it, re-overtakes.
We'll see in a second if he does. Yeah, he just has it on the brakes.
Yep.
A little bit of a chirp on the grabbed it a bit too much, but still holds on. Red Bull keeping Simičić as far down the order as they possibly can to maximise Siebel and Jordan's attempts at trying to take the championship.
Well, Siebel's going to be the championship leader, I think, coming into today. If he finishes out here on the podium, third place for him so far. Fifth place, in the sprint race. So fantastic. That was a little connection. Kasper Stoltz on Siggy there. Siggy, I think, just on the brake. Stoltz having to brake check effectively for Stanley. And Peo Pef just behind him, watching that all play out. 1 minute to go here. Exactly what is the position, I wonder, of Dennis Jordan? If you just see Kapmanian going through, that's beautiful.
Yeah, Jordan's just coming through Lecom now, so this is the final lap. So Dennis Jordan's just got to hold on a little bit longer. Brzezinski in second. I think Siebel's way too far back to take a Red Bull 1-2 here. But still under pressure from Marcel Cinchik. So any mistake from Siebel, and then Cinchik's back through.
So shouldn't catch anyone off guard with the fuel, like we saw in the BMW race previous to this. As Erhan went just a little bit too quick for some people, and Schmiedel just underestimated how many laps it was going to be, so he had to go in for a splash and dash towards the end of the race. But Alex Siebel, what a fantastic race, what a fantastic journey, I feel, for Alex Siebel over the championship. Luca Di Maio trying to get it done on Michi Hoyer just towards the end of the race. Hoyer just going to hold on, I think. Luca Di Maio pretty smooth around there, but not really enough. Is he going to try and send it at the chicane? Don't think he will in a moment, but I'm gaining cats on my desk.
That's a weird problem to have.
It's slightly off-putting while I'm commentating. A cat suddenly gets in your face.
I don't think Alan Hyde has that problem. But Dennis Jordan coming through the final chicane for the final time to win here at Spa-Francorchamps. In behind, it's Brzezinski, Siebel, and here's Marcel Cinchik also crossing the line. So that's actually Dennis Jordan's first win of the season. He's gone one better as Ibrahim Khan and the Fordzilla of Nuno Pinto. And here comes Kevin Siggy also joining in on the fight. Khan is just about going to hold on, I think. Yes, he has. And here comes Michi Hoyer, followed by Luca Di Maio. I was just about to say that Dennis Jordan's just gone one better than his great race at Loch Drummond last time out. So great improvement from the Red Bull driver to take the win here tonight, and probably, along with Siebel, should be within a shot of taking the title at the next round at Indianapolis.
Here's a shot of Nuno Pinto having a little go at Ibrahim Khan. The rocket driver just before. Hard on the brakes. You see the lockup from Khan, and he almost made it work, you know. Budges his way through. Maybe a little brutal, but Nuno makes the move stick. He started out in second. He was in the lead briefly for one lap, and then Dennis Jordan retook it from him. But fantastic drive. Jakub Brzezinski once again from 10th up into second. That's why reverse grid is so fantastic. Yes, it was the help of a pit stop, but it gets him in that second place for the Williams Esports driver. Dennis Jordan, of course, the Red Bull drivers putting in a fantastic showing here with Alex Siebel in third. Also, Yuri Kastorp with his teammates down in seventh. Cinchik, I think he's going to be a little aggrieved at losing out on the podium. He gets a fourth place in the end. David Rocek, another fifth place for him. Some great performance from him, probably his best of the season, actually. He was down in 22nd in the championship. That's going to boost him right back up there. Yuri Simičić also 1 point adrift of the championship coming into this. He's going to be very happy. I think overall a fourth and an eighth place finish for him. Nuno Pinto also in ninth, as I say, hanging on and stealing ninth place from Ibrahim Khan. in the Rocket Esports in 10th place on that final corner. Of course, this is all withstanding any penalties that may be out there, although I don't believe there's too many. It was relatively clean race overall. Kevin Siggy down in 11th for the BMW team. Red line, Yunus Ravio gaining quite a few positions in 12th in the end there. Peter Briliak for Williams also in 13th. Richie Hoyer for Burst down in 14th. Luca D'Amelio for TX3 in 15th place. Cito Vaya, what a performance from him. He's got up into 16th in the end there. He started way down. Casper Stoltz in 17th for John Lacey Esports. Luis Felipe Capamagian in HM Engineering in 18th. Ferry Stanley and Arnie Schuflet, both from Zancho in 19th and 20th. Kevin Rotting, 21st for him. Yuri Toman in the end, 22nd. Oh my God, the championship leader coming into Spa will be kicking himself. He's got a lot of work to do going into Indianapolis. Wisniewski in the Williams in 23rd. Chiara, of course, all the collisions that happened on that first lap. Chiara, Jordi Spheres, it was a Porsche disaster going through Radion on the very first lap, and Andonovsky, of course, not able to really improve as well with that DNF. But Aiden, what a race! What a race it's been! Both sprint race and endurance race. Can't call it endurance race. Main race, 45-minute race. Absolutely delivering some fantastic racing action.
Yeah, Spa always has delivered ever since it came onto the calendar, and ever since Studio 397 brought it into rFactor 2. It's always delivered it in all the series that have been held races here. So like the Virtual Endurance Championship, GT Pro, GT Challenge, the BMWs, even Formula Pro and Formula Challenge. I think it's just something about this track that lends itself to great racing. Maybe it's because it's one of the more old school tracks in Europe, or if not the world, that it's just got that flow to it, and just doesn't matter what era or what type of car it is, the track just lends itself to great racing. And they really did do the pro part of GT Pro justice this time round with the great racing we had on offer. I think there was only the one real spin in that feature race, and there was the little bit that happened at the start of the sprint race. But we only had like 2 retirements in the feature race and just the one in the sprint race. So great racing all round, and it was great to watch some of these drivers come back through the field, and the racing that we saw for the lead as well.
So that is it for round 5. Spa delivering and opening the championship wide open for what could be a 5 or 6 horse race going into Indianapolis. That race will be on the 18th of October, 2 weeks' time. That will also be the conclusion of the BMW Sim M2 Racing Cup as well. Obviously, we'll be seeing who the final ticket is for that. That could be entertaining, no doubt about it. Indianapolis will be the place to watch that. What's your takeaway driver of the day? For me, I'm going to say Jakub Brzezinski. I think driver of the day for me, after having such a fantastic drive coming up from 10th to 2nd.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have to go with that as well, to be up there in both races, to be able to pull that off. It takes a great driver to do that, and just to see if Ruben get the standings up. I really do want to see how close it is, because we had just 1 point between the top 2 coming in. That's all changed on its head, especially with Toman finishing down in 22nd in that second race. So if we can get that up as soon as possible, that would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, if we stay any longer, we're going to get some cat entertainment going on behind me. I don't know what's going on back there. They're definitely, cats are getting a bit feisty overall. But yeah, I mean, overall, what a fantastic drive it has been. We are going to be getting the standings. Brilliant. Okay, I'm excited to see this. So for me, it's going to be obviously Alex Siebel in there, Dennis Jordan possibly contesting, Yuni Simincic. It's going to be close. I don't know how far Yuri Toman will have slipped down. I'm assuming this will probably be one that will get deducted for him. But yeah, it's going to bring this championship is going to be absolutely alive. Marcel Cinchik as well, to a 3rd and a 4th for him overall, I think, in the race. So, oh, man, this is going to be. It could be just within a couple of points for 4 or 5 drivers.
Yeah, I want to see where Capit and Morocek also end up, because they were down in 20th and 22nd respectively, so they'll have jumped up probably above Schoenfleet via Richards, maybe Wisniewski and Brzezinski as well, so around the sort of 14th place mark. So those we can't write those 2 off, because they did brilliantly well to be that down in the championship, and I think they're going to get the standings right now. See what it is. So Yone Simincic actually remains in the lead This is obviously including the drop scores. You can see for some of them, Spa has been lit up in red. So Yuri Toman there, 78 and 84. This will be his new drop round. Briliak as well, Andonovsky also. And so we've got 67 and 63. So Symmetry is actually further ahead than we expected, probably because of these drop rounds. Siebel now there in second. Toman drops to third. Dennis Jordan in fourth. So it's not actually as close as we were anticipating because of
I mean, 17 points between the top 5. I'll take that going into the final race.
Well, it only takes one DNF to turn it all its head, because it's one first and second. There's probably about 5 points between the two of them, and then it's just 1 point down to. So if you outscore one of your rivals by many positions, then you've really turned it on its head. Or if you DNF, like I say, that can really turn it on its head as well, because you've lost the participation points. Well, you still get the participation points, but you don't get the points for obviously finishing the race. And then down at the bottom, Jan van der Heijden and Prezi Martona haven't shown up for the sort of the second half of the season. So sad to see Jan van der Heijden, Prezi Martona that will be relegated at the end of the season. Jordi Zveers down there in 28th, Kevin Rotting. So it's Katamajan, Rotting, Zveers, van der Heijden and Martono, as it stands, will be going down at the end of the season.
Yeah, quite a few of those also got promoted this season as well, so they've not exactly delivered. I think for the top of the table, though, Yuri Simičić, I think it's the consistency that's winning out for him. He's had some fantastic races overall. You know, ironically, that was close to being one of his worst races. Look at that, 89 and 98, 87 and 97. I mean, he's done so consistently well throughout the entire season. Fantastic work for him. Overall, obviously getting himself the win, a couple of fastest laps in there, and all completing 215 laps. That's a lot of laps. And you can see how many laps they've led throughout there and the podiums they consistently had. So for Siebel, not actually led that often, just the 6 laps overall, where Simičić had 45 laps in the lead. But podium finishes 5 times in the podium, 6 times in the top 5. So Siebel's consistency also delivering, but just how close it could be. 17 points splitting Yuri Simičić down to Marcel Chinchik, leading into Indianapolis in just 2 weeks' time. What a race that could be.
Yeah, especially if it rains as well. If we have rain thrown into the mix, that will really spice things up. But that'll be in 2 weeks' time. So not next Monday, it'll be the Monday after that.
That's it. That's 2 weeks out. That's how it works out, ladies and gentlemen. The 18th of October. Set your clock, set your time, set your alarms, whatever you're going to do in your calendar, and make sure to join us here on rFactor Live or on YouTube, wherever you may be watching. On Twitch and YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. I've been Edie Smith, obviously joined by Ed Millwall. And of course, in the background, Millward. I did say Millward. Don't you look at me like that. I just said it fast. And of course, Ruben and the production in the background. You can't see it, but he's given me 2 signs saying you are number 1. I think that's what it means. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.